think you're weird. I think you're dumb. You fucking had that show makes me so fun. You're drunk now, just go home. You're drunk now, just go home. You're drunk now, just go home. You're drunk now. Coming to you live from the luscious loins of LaPella, Indiana. It's Bullshit. Hanging out today, we've got none other than Thom Woodard and Phil Keller in the house. What's up, gentlemen?
How are you?
Howdy.
Doing pretty good. Pretty good. Nice and hungover. And hair of the dog, even though if you're watching right now, it says mixed nuts on the screen. And that's because my assistant director of creation, which is me, forgot to make the thing. So I didn't realize it until like 10 minutes before we started the show. I actually sat here while Thom and Phil were talking, and I'm like trying to do it real quick, but I messed that up. So oh well, that's I guess it's mixed nuts number 9. At least that's what the show says. Or we could. Here's what we can do. We could just go, boom, bam. No more of that drama.
Absolutely. Well, the perfect thing because it's hangover time.
Hangover time. Yeah, we've got a bottle of whiskey in the house tonight.
All right,
Phil, what are you drinking on?
It's some Hefeweizen I found on the way here.
Bless you. What kind of beer is it?
Hefeweizen.
Bless you.
German style wheat beer.
Hell yeah, man.
Gesundheit.
So one of my fave types.
Where can you pick that up?
I got it Elite off of 37 in Noblesville on the way here.
Right on.
It's pretty decent. I don't know.
You guys have a pretty good. I mean, you're somewhat close to me. Yeah,
About a half hour away.
yeah. It's like across the street.
Everything's a half an hour away from us. So
Yeah, pretty much. How about you, Phil? I mean, Thom. Sorry.
Oh, about 40 minutes, about 45 minutes, about straight up from the city because I'm right next to the mill, and I have a deep appreciation for all the work you do and the drive you make, for all the effort you put in at Punk Rock Night, you guys.
Right on. Thanks, Thom.
Doing a very busy task.
definitely.
I definitely keep busy.
Yeah,
Running around drinking.
Saw you last night.
Hell yeah.
I think the camera gives you something to do. Sometimes I'll just like, I'm just going to go get another drink, but you get to take pictures.
Hell yeah. So, you were saying it pretty much a straight up shot, huh? You took Fall Creek.
Yeah. I can hop on. It's actually, that's my drive to work. I get on Binford Boulevard, which is, fortunately they
69.
And they go faster than the interstate.
No,
I'm serious. The
Wow.
speed limit's like 50. People are like, I'll be going, shall we say, a healthy 50, which is 60, and people are blowing by me.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
ridiculous. It's like if they were to set up a speed trap there, they couldn't stop enough people. It's absolutely everyone.
Yeah.
And then somebody going, like it's the 500. Really.
Oh, yeah. It's kind of lawless around 465 to that Castleton that construction right around Castleton's been pissing me off for quite a while now, but whatever,
Yeah.
There's like construction everywhere.
Yes, I saw a map.
Yeah, I saw that too. Like every corner, every nook and cranny of the city is just construction. It's wild.
You have to know the secret back roads to get there. And then, of course, other people know the secret back roads. And you're mad at them, of course, because that's my secret, not yours.
Get out of the way. Yep.
I don't want to share my secrets.
What?
Well, then they wouldn't be secrets.
Well, that's true. That's true. Let's move your mic in just a little more closer to you. That way.
Me?
Yeah, just a little more in.
Okay. You can see that it's gold.
Yeah.
There we are. Oh, it's a little loose here.
Perfect. Yeah.
Highbrow. You get all my they call that the proximity effect.
There you go.
Yeah. Nice. So where do we start? Well, I like to start with a shot. So for those of us that are drinking at home, cheers. Today's, again, we covered what was the name of that beer?
Hefeweizen.
1520 Hefeweizen from Grand Junction Brewing Company. First time for this one, so that's good.
And wild guesses here. Benchmark, of course.
I was not paid to do that ad just now, but whatever.
Kind of was an ad. You're putting in. You should get a little percentage. Get a discount at any rate. For all those playing at home, take a drink now.
Right.
Oh, well, we've got a ton of comments. Let's go over that real quick. Excuse me.
Oh,
wrong one.
Jake.
What's up, Pix?
How was the hangover? Not bad.
Love you, Tap. Let's see. Oh, yeah, Jake wants to know how the hangover went, Phil.
Not bad at all. Except for just gotta wake up. That's all. Shake it off. Whatever.
Do you do greasy food? Greasy food always works.
Oh, yeah.
I'd have a cheesburger when I get up.
Right.
So yeah.
Very greasy though.
I had one of those Italian sandwiches.
Oh, yeah.
It was spicy too.
Can I go?
I can't remember. somewhere
The getting place.
Yeah, the getting place. It's probably a marathon. Shit, I don't know.
No, I got Hoagies and Hops near me, so I can go and get one of them highbrow.
Oh,
Nice.
shit.
Philly steak and cheese.
Where's that
That's
at?
good. At a Boulevard and 42nd or something.
Oh, okay, okay.
It's good.
Okay.
Let's see
Right
here.
on.
Jake said they're starting more construction on 465 and haven't even finished what they started.
Sure. Why?
Fuck the Indiana Department of Transportation.
Yeah.
In case anybody out there didn't know what that's for.
I think the goal is to get the entire 465 loop tied up. We wouldn't want any clear spaces.
Yeah.
Jeanette's drinking
Yeah.
Diet Wild Cherry Pepsi. All right, Jeanette. You fucking wild
All right,
woman.
but are you slamming it,
Ouch.
Jeanette? You
And
need to
then
be
whoever
slamming
burped,
it.
got a 0.5.
I didn't.
Somebody burped.
Maybe I did.
I just went out of control.
It was crazy. Burps just crazy.
Oh, Jeanette with her cherry soda.
That was
Oh,
a very
yeah.
good one.
Yeah.
That was a kind of minor burp.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
Hey,
That one went back in time. There, so that's what you heard.
well, I can make it happen. Fake burps. If I do that enough, I'll puke.
So uncivilized.
That was a good burp. Excellent burp.
So, Tom,
Yes.
what was your first instrument, man?
Well, it was. Well, I wanted to play. Believe it or not, I wanted to play the violin as a little kid, and I was so small. They said, "Oh, you're too small for the violin. You need to play the cello." But I will say that I don't know. Maybe this is too much information. So
There's no such thing as TMI on a chopped liver show.
well, this is for like music aficionados. When I was a real little kid, my dad took me to see Fiddler on the Roof, and it was the actual Broadway one with Zero Mostel. This is a very famous production, and Zero Mostel was like in the original producers, like this brilliant actor. And I was really young, and it was at Clues Hall, and it was just fascinating. And I guess he said, I don't remember this, but he said I went home and took a baseball cap and cut the brim off it, so I'm wearing it like a yarmulke. And I wanted to, and they had, he played violin on the roof and everything, and I wanted to play fiddle, but I was too small, so they made me play the cello, and I absolutely hated it. I really didn't play it. I just sort of pretended like I was sawing away at it.
Yeah,
which is kind of embarrassing. But my mom had a guitar at the house, and that's what I just picked up and started fiddling with myself. So that would have been my first instrument.
hell yeah. What was the first guitar you bought? Curious.
Oh, yeah. God. The first one I actually had. This is the first one I bought in high school, and there's a band here that was famous called the Boys Next Door in the 60s. And Skeet Busher, who was Charlie Busher's father, who was in Drummer for the Pie Store, like that. And it was a SG Junior I bought for hardly any money, but I couldn't play it worth a damn and didn't really know the value. And back then, of course, I didn't know the value of it. You know what? This was a long time ago. And I ended up trading it for an acoustic guitar, and that thing I played the shit out of. And so that was really it. But that'd be such a valuable guitar. And it has this provenance, this history and all that. But unfortunately, it's gone. So my first guitar was something really fantastic. And it's actually, that's almost an embarrassing story that I just revealed here.
I feel that energy though. I feel you, because I have had very rare guitars, and at the time I was like really annoyed with these very rare guitars, and they weren't rare, but now they are rare, and it's like fuck my life. They made this this Gibson SG, and it was all set up. It had like the locking you know, like what the metal guitar players have. You know?
Locking tremolos.
Yeah, it had all that stuff on it. And I was, you know, I'm used to playing Strats, Tellys, and, you know, like Les Pauls type, you know, just whatever. And I was just like really annoyed with the thing. And I'm like, dude, I don't fucking feel like dealing with this shit. And I ended up selling it for next to nothing. And now, if you can even find one, they're worth like $4 or $5 grand. It's
I know,
like some insane amount of money. But I'm sure somebody out there is going to correct me on how much it's worth and what it's actually called, but whatever. Yeah, dude, I feel you, man.
So I'll share some stories. This is
Hell yeah.
This is a good story. This is so I'm kind of at this stage in my life when this happened. I know all about vintage amps, and I've been around for a while. And I'm driving down Pennsylvania toward 49th Street, and I look on the side of the road, and I immediately recognize a Fender Tweed, the side of an amp of this vintage Tweed, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I'm looking, and I'm driving this van, and I'm kind of, you know, looking out the window at this thing, and I go past, I realize now I'm in the other lane staring at this, and I'm such a nerd with this. I've already identified this. This is a 50s narrow panel Fender Tweed amp sitting next in a row of garbage cans.
What?
And I go and I U-turn and I pull around, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I pick it up. It's a Fender Super narrow panel. And it's like everything looks fine. It looks like you can see the amp in the back because the back panel's missing. And I like pick it up and I put it in my car, and I go, no, wait a minute. Maybe they're not throwing this thing away, because I certainly don't want to steal something that at that point is pretty damn valuable.
Yeah.
Like in the $1,000, you know, over $1,000 probably at that point when I got it. And I actually literally open up the trash cans. All right, this is trash. There's bags here. Maybe somebody's moving and they left it out for somebody, because I don't want to steal this thing. Because there's some value to this. And I'm opening up the plastic bag and sticking my hands in and getting garbage all over my hand. And I go, this is clearly trash. They're throwing this away.
Oh, yeah.
And my heart was racing the moment I saw it. And I drove away with this thing feeling like a thief. And then I had it fixed, and all it needed was, you know, I had the filter caps done, and it didn't need pretty much anything. It was like all original, great condition. And like a fool, I should have kept it. And I played, and my thing was I should play out with amps. They should be practical for me.
Yeah.
And I actually took it out, and I went to a friend of mine, Gordon Bonham, ran the like little blues jam, and I, like, as soon as I got it, I went up there and I sat in with him and blew out the speakers, the original Jensen Blue speakers. Like, not too smart, Tom, but I had those replaced, save the old cones, you know, or the old speaker baskets so they could be reconed. But and then I had that for a while, and it was good. And then I don't know what was in my head. There was I play with the Blonde Basements from 1963, which is a real classic collectible. There's a certain era. It's the Wheat era. That's the Pete Townsend, the you know, Joe Walsh, the Brian Setzer. Brian Setzer plays those exclusively too. It's just this one era, 1963, 636-B circuit, very famous. John Marshall supposedly copied that when he was doing his Marshalls and everything. And so I traded the Tweed because at a music store there was one of those sitting around, so I already had one. And then I saw another one, and they're hard to get a hold of, that era. And I thought it was a good idea to trade that Tweed for that. And probably it was. But since that time, that the Blonde Basements that I have a pair of, it's nice, they pretty much stayed at this one price. And the Tweeds have gone like through the roof. That's probably a $5,000 to $8,000 amp right now. And yeah, and I'm like... And my idea was, well, I want a pair of them. I want a backup and all that. But, you know, you just don't know.
Well, you know, look at it this way. Most people will never even have an opportunity to play one. And you got to. So,
yeah, I did.
And you found it in the trash.
Oh, and by the way, for all the people that like to talk about Spinal Tap, for real, those amps go to 12. They don't go to 11. They actually, the volume it says 12.
I did not. Yeah, I
How
didn't
about
know.
that?
I didn't even know that. I've
Oh,
seen that movie.
And here's a good little bit of trivia. If you've ever seen those amps, and they do it on the Fender reissues that have the tweed, do you ever notice the volume knobs, all the lettering faces backwards? You'd have to stand behind the amp to see it. So you're playing the amp and you're going to turn the knobs and you realize they're faced the other way because you're in front of the amp, but the knobs are faced the other way. And that goes back to that era. You used to put the amps at the front of the stage because they weren't very powerful and you're filling up the room with the amp. It wasn't like just to produce the sound of the guitar.
Yeah.
It was to actually produce sound on stage. So you'd come from the behind to turn it up because it was behind you. And they left the back open so you could hear the speaker, because if you were behind the thing, you might not even hear what you're playing. So all this coincidence of amp design was just kind of an accident and not really like audio engineered or anything, but it turned into this really magical thing.
Sweet.
So I do want to continue on that, but I forgot to do something. So every show now, I always have a gift for everybody that comes on the show, and I have to go with instinct a lot. So for you, Thom, I grabbed, so I always do VHS. So for you, I grabbed a copy of Young Frankenstein.
Yeah.
How was my instinct on that?
That was perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
I got to copy that.
That ties into the first thing I talk about. Gene Wilder was in the original producers with a Zero Mostel.
Oh yeah.
So there we go.
And then
love this.
No instinct needed here. None at all. I have a copy of Ghostbusters on VHS for Phil.
Oh my god!
So,
I don't actually have that on VHS, but
you know what?
I have them on
DVD
and stuff, of course. But
I have the original, and I don't know where I fucking put it. It pisses me off because I want you to have the original.
no, dude.
Let me 1 second.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I'll after we're done, I'll hunt it down. But this is like the
no worries, man.
2003, 2004.
All right.
Edition.
Okay.
Awesome.
Oh, digitally remastered. Okay.
Yeah, they didn't George Lucas it or anything, but you know.
Oh yeah, we
just,
we need to make the ghost wink in this version.
Yeah.
The
Slimer is actually a purple, not green. So they just yeah.
Yeah, Lucas went a little overboard with the different editions, but
hell yeah,
you know, hey, that sells more DVD sets, right? Or Blu-rays.
Think about all
That's another reason to buy it again, because there's got to be some difference. Why would you buy something you already have? But we added 3 seconds or 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got to buy a whole new movie.
Yeah, I've got like 4 versions of Star Wars, but a couple of them are VHS and then the others are DVDs. But I stopped buying them. But whatever.
I just imagine like somewhere in the late 80s or maybe early 90s, George Lucas is sitting there at his supreme, ridiculously expensive desk and thinking to himself, like, how can I get these people to buy the same movie, but like 6 different versions of it?
Mm-hmm.
And literally, like, there's the original that came out, the original's on VHS, and then they did it. I think they did one, like a reprint or whatever, a few years later, and then they did the remasters, and then they did another remaster, like whatever, and then they fucked them all up and did it again. Mm-hmm. There's literally like 6 different versions of A New Hope or whatever, and Empire and Return of the Jedi.
I lost track.
Yeah. So all these people that like collect Star Wars memorabilia, it's just fucking ridiculous.
No, I love the Star Wars thing, but I got some. I think I got a DVD of it, and I'm like, oh, well, now I see more animals when they're before they go into the crazy bar.
Yeah, in the late '90s, they did the special editions. So they actually put them in the theaters, and
that's one
that was sweet.
Yeah,
and we're like, okay, that's great. And then we just kept doing more and more. You know, better CGI. Oh, we forgot to get the Ewoks to blink in this one. We're gonna do this. Like,
what a franchise!
And then like the Jabba the Hutt, like they redid some of that scene.
Yeah, with Han.
Yeah.
It's
crazy.
That's great.
Crazy.
Well,
Nerds.
Oh yeah, for sure. What's your favorite Star Wars, Tom?
Oh, I don't know what's the Sith one. I'm not as much. I've got them all. Though. I've seen the final one where
the prequels or the
the prequels right before Darth Vader. Actually, right before A New Hope. What's that one?
Oh yeah, episode 3.
Yeah,
Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, that's pretty,
okay.
That's
all right.
That's a pretty strong one.
Yeah,
that's the best of the prequels in my
yeah,
opinion.
that one.
Yeah,
that one's really good. But they all have their neat, charm.
Yep.
That I like, and there's little scenes that it's really hard to do that. It's a great franchise. It really
is The Force Awakens. That's episode 7. I really liked that when I saw it in theater.
It was good. It was good.
Not too many people did.
Well,
I loved it.
We all liked it. Well, you probably know. I don't know if you know. I'm in the costume legions.
Yeah.
The
Hell yeah.
501st and Rebel Legion. And at the time, I went all out, and I made me and a buddy pilot outfits from Force Awakens for the premiere. And we went down to the downtown IMAX at the museum and saw it there, and we were pretty cool. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, but and
were you signing autographs? I mean,
well, I should have. I've made over 100 of those suits too, by the way, for costumers.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing the past few years. So
cottage industry for you.
Yeah.
So real quick, Ugo Cruz chimed in. What up? Tom and Phil are the coolest.
Yeah,
Ugo. Yeah.
I'm just a hanger on. Come on, this is Tom's show.
And then
Ugo's the coolest.
Dr. Roadkill.
Oh my God, Tom? Danny. Hello, Danny.
Hell
man.
Yeah.
Danny. Hello, sir.
What up, buddy?
Hugo
And Phil, what up?
Laura.
Hell yeah, Laura chimed in too.
Cool.
Oh, I missed that comment. Peacock has a lot of versions spin-off. The Mandalorian is good. Yeah.
Oh, Mandalorian, I love.
Yeah,
that's why I signed up for Disney, just to see Mandalorian.
Hell yeah.
I like that a lot.
I'm just now watching season 3.
Cool.
I think I'm on the 3rd episode.
I think I've watched them all like twice. Too.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
I actually I like stuff like that. I let the whole thing go until the last season. I would prefer the whole thing was done so I can sit there and binge it. So I can just do one after another.
Right on.
Hell yeah. I love that shit too. That's my favorite too. I like waiting a little bit. Sorry, I had to center my camera. Check out my gun. Oh yeah. Anywho, so Tom, what's the first concert you ever went to, man?
Oh, it was I was pretty young. It was at Hinkle Fieldhouse. It was free. It was the Byrds. And it was at Hinkle Fieldhouse, and I knew nothing about anything. And these guys I was hanging out with, we all went down there. It's a free concert. We go in, and I smelled marijuana. They passing it around. I was like, I was like, my gosh, I think it's like 8th grade or something. One of the guy I was with drank a pint of Southern Comfort, was just like out of control drunk that we had to kind of corral in. But that was also cool too. Man. I mean, the whole thing was cool, and it was like whatever what they called festival seating was the thing. You just kind of sat on the basketball court. And also I remember pretty much the lights were up. It didn't really get really dim or anything, but it was pretty impressive.
Right on.
Hell yeah.
Cool.
So this very rarely happens. Cornholio Play-Doh on Twitch. What have I found here then? Ha ha. So somebody just randomly on Twitch started watching the podcast.
Well, hello, Cornholio.
Cornholio. I need TV for my
Shut up, dumbass.
Whatever.
Okay. We can curse, can't we?
Laura is apparently it's Disney Plus, not Peacock.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, but I don't even.
Yeah, it does matter. Yeah, it's
one
Disney
of those.
Plus. Yeah.
Things.
There's only like 3 different, right? 3 companies that own pretty much all the movie rights, right? Pretty much. It's crazy. Disney owns like everything.
Yeah, Peacock's NBC.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Disney is ABC, and well, and then probably half the universe, but whatever.
Yeah. They own Marvel too, right? Disney.
Yeah.
Crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like everything's a Disney movie now.
Pretty much.
What was that? There was something that when they bought they just recently bought something in the last couple of years, and now
Sony they're bringing the Marvel characters into one under one roof now. So Deadpool 3 is gonna do
those are funny.
a bunch of that. I think.
Look at that.
Yeah.
It's an actual like icon comment. I don't think we've had one of those. Thanks for the icon comment.
What's the? I can't see it. What is it?
They destroying Star Wars. Oh shit.
Uh-oh.
Here we go. Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of the sequel movies, so there you go. Anyway, I'm not gonna rant about that. Whatever.
Yeah.
Tom,
You're like the purist, the Star Wars purist.
well, yeah, whatever. To each their own. So
I just love film. I just love film. So I try not to overthink that stuff. Kind of like the new White Men Can't Jump. A lot of people
There's
were
any one of those. Well,
yeah, dude, and it was pretty good. It was pretty good. Yeah,
Okay.
but a lot of people, be like, the original. Like, I just go into like, I'm gonna watch this film and I'm gonna decide whether it's good or not.
I don't know if I could get that invested in the White Men Can't Jump franchise to be a.
I mean, the first one
I don't know.
definitely didn't date well, but the newer one is, it's definitely modernized and more aimed at, current culture and stuff like that. But it was a good film and it covered a lot of ground. So, but yeah, I'm kind of a low key film critic to myself, I guess. Whatever. I'm just one of those people. I love film. So Jeanette's laughing at me. Obi-Wan was okay. Okay, right on, Cornholio.
Yeah,
hell yeah.
It's kind of
it
was all right.
Yeah. So back to you, Tom. What was the first band that you were ever in?
Well, it was a blues band. It was called Indianapolis Blues Coalition, and we would go out and there was a club that lots of bands. Early, I think Elvis Brothers and Zero Boys. It was called the Third Base, and it was downtown. And you went up a big flight of stairs, and we would play there. They didn't even know what to book us because Stevie Ray Vaughan hadn't broke, and it was like a bunch of young white kids playing blues. They call us New Wave Blues. I don't think a lot of people got it, but we'd play there, and it was a real small place, so it was easy to get a lot of people in there. Oh, wow. And I just remember, the load-in was they had this really neat bar downstairs, but you went up you had to carry all your equipment up this really long flight of stairs, and you'd play in the back there. It was real divey, and that building's torn down.
What circuit are we talking here?
That would be like 79, 80, or early 80s, probably.
Oh, wow.
80,
okay.
81, 82.
Hell yeah.
Giving away my age.
That was about 10 years before I started going out to clubs and stuff. It was Sliver Noodle for me and a buddy of mine.
Yeah.
And we'd go there all the time for a couple of years after I turned 21. And
Slippery Noodle is great.
Yeah. I remember when the front of it.
It was just the front at first, right?
And the little narrow place, and then they eventually they opened that up, that made the atrium, and it just
well, they did the back room first. I mean, first it was just this little shotgun thing. That was small. And they'd have little, I think actually the guy I play with Art Adams, Mike Strauss, and I would go to they had a little open stagey thing, or also it was real casual. There were some Sundays where come up and play, and so you just show up with your instrument. Who knows what was going on?
Wow.
Absolute pandemonium.
I saw Governor Davis there a bunch.
Oh yeah,
it was they were one of my favorite acts. Yeah,
they're great.
Yeah.
Can you turn your mic towards you? Actually, so see the words. That's where the condenser actually is.
So I want to see the words.
Yeah, you want to see the words.
I'm seeing.
I'm messing with your tone, by the way. While you're chatting.
I need to get the proximity effect better. Is that it?
No, you don't have to be that close, but as long as it's actually, yeah. I got your tone adjusted where it sounds nice and
less annoying,
nice and thick.
All right,
Get that thick Thom Woodard voice now.
I didn't know that was possible.
Do we want to discuss the email that I got before the show?
Well, I suppose we can, but
it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I don't have it on me, so you would.
I don't know. That's
You want to leave it?
Maybe we should
Let's just say that Thom has a really big fan out in Missouri. So
Yeah. Hi, Jesse.
yeah.
Thanks for the email.
Very endearing words.
Yes.
We're set. we'll just leave everybody in the dark and keep it as an inside joke. Well, let's just say,
yeah,
Thom has a really big fan in Missouri. So, yeah, we were joking about that before the show. I was like, I might want to show this to him and not just say it on the podcast because it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
All right.
Yeah, it's juicy. It's a juicy email. It's out there.
I'm blushing.
Oh, yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
I
like her. She's cool.
All right. I like her. I love her.
Oh yeah, man.
She's good. Yeah.
So inspirationally, what artists would you say have inspired you the most as a musician?
Oh, that's so hard to say because it's like I hear something and I get really attracted to it or like have some influence on me from all areas, and sometimes the least things you'd expect to enjoy. And I'm like, oh, I kind of like that. And I would, if I get something in my head, I think I'm kind of wired like that. If I like when I work, I'm at work and I work in AV and they'll be playing music and I'm like, could you please turn that down? And they go, well, why? And I go, well, it distracts me. And well, here's a way to describe it. I got a job once at it was called Peaches and it was in Broad Ripple. It was a music store, right? And they I'm like, oh, okay, I need a job. And they go, well, we'll hire you as assistant manager. Well, it turned out anybody that worked there was an assistant manager. So they had a manager and then however many people they're assistant managers. And basically your job is to alphabetize CDs, which are, obviously now just imagine that, this little tiny thing, you got to sit there and find the one in the wrong place and alphabetize. And then of course you have to know the alphabet too. But I had notes, I had notes. And they'd be playing music and I'm like sitting here and good tunes too. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, yeah. Oh, that's D. I think he's playing in a drop D tuning there. And he went to, let's see. And I'm like taking it and I'm listening it in my head and I'm getting really distracted and into it and figuring out I just get enveloped in it and it would destroy my ability to like think straight. And I'd do my alpha and then he'd go back and get corrected. I got it wrong. You got this wrong. I got this wrong. And I'm like, well, my mind's not really focused on alphabetizing CDs. I don't know if there's anything that would make me want to focus on that, but specifically listening to music, that's what I focus on. I hear something and I realize I'm kind of wired like that. And I'll get the last song. I go to work. I of course have to work a job because music doesn't pay enough to make a living.
No, are you? No way.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another. We'll get on that in a second. But it's like the last song I hear when I go into my work, I have to make sure it's not something cheesy because that's what'll be in my head constantly until I hear something else, and it'll go over and over. And that's, I guess, in a way, also that's my gift. I can go back and play with somebody I'd played with a long time ago, and then I seem to pick it up. And if I don't think about it, it all comes back to me. If I try to think about it or I won't necessarily, or people would ask me, this has been going on years, what songs do you play? And I'm like, I can't even name the darn songs, but if we get up to play them, I'm like, I'm not looking at music. I'm not looking at a chart. I'm just like,
which is on.
Yeah. And I won't even remember the name of the song. Sometime I'll like, do the one that one.
I'm kind of the same way.
And I play it. I play it great.
Yeah, like a tiger. I do that. I'm like, what? Hey, are we gonna play that one song with the one thing?
Yeah,
it's like the name of the song. Shep. Yeah. I'm like, whatever, dude.
It's with the drone on the D string,
dude. Yeah. No. So like, I guess I've always kind of, I've seen you play in a few different bands, and I've always. So, correct me if I'm wrong. Are you a Zeppelin fan?
Oh yeah.
Because I've always, I don't know, your style and stuff, it kind of takes me to page a little bit. So, but that's me just taking pictures while trying to listen at the same time.
Yeah. Well, I don't think I spent enough time with that. I flow to all these different things. I think about the guitar in lots of different ways. Pages like delivery and tone too. I think that, and that they were like the embodiment of rock and roll too, the lifestyle thing and their performances and the visceral part of his playing too, because you wouldn't, there's you get on YouTube and you can it's humbling to see these people just nail these parts. I'm like, well, I don't play like that. They just nail it perfectly. But there's I think it's not always, but in me, I think I like the sort of the raw spontaneous sort of little sloppiness or whatever you want to call the visceral attack of all those artists. And it's I like to think I have my own style, but it really didn't come. It came from me trying to imitate people, and I'm really trying to sound like this. Well, it doesn't sound like that at all, Thom, but it sounds good. We like it. Let's use it.
Hell yeah.
If that makes any sense. So
I totally understand what you're saying. I play guitar, so I totally get it. And every once in a while I have to write solo. So
yeah. Well, you want to find I think it's important to find your own voice, right? Because there are so many people that go out and will nail something perfectly note for note and have the feel down. And that's really impressive. I'm really impressed. That's not me. I'll make an attempt at it, and but also it has to come from the heart. You have to believe in it. It has to have this. You're
this speaking
feeling
through that through your fingers,
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. You're saying something, and you can say this. You can get the same point across in your own words. And I'd play in bands, and we'd cover some song, and somebody would come up and go, "Man, you nail that." And I think to myself, I do not nail that. I tried to nail that so hard. I've worked so hard on it, and I never get it the way I want it to be. But that's what they heard.
Yeah.
Because what I really tried to do is I tried to make that statement or something. So yeah, it's a language.
I did a tribute, AC/DC tribute called Big Balls with Barker and John Trousers. He was the Angus of the band.
Okay.
And we did a whole lot of Rosie. And I don't know if you know much about that song, but the solo in that is insanely long. And I was like, when we were going through and picking the songs, it's Bon Scott era only, by the way. I was like, John, like it doesn't have to be like note for note. Like it's like 6 minutes of just straight banging. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, duh, dude. Like I can see like a Metallica tribute, maybe like trying to master that fucking perfect, I don't know, like Master of Puppets, whatever fucking solo, because it's so detailed and everybody knows it just to the T. If you like Metallica and you like that song, you're gonna know it note for note, even if you're not a musician. But I definitely appreciate the blues style of guitar more. Like my favorite classic rock bands are Led Zeppelin, AC/DC, and those are definitely blues rock. You know? So I definitely appreciate your style. Like I think the first band I saw you in was Vodka de Milo.
Right, Vodka de Milo. We actually we'd get to my basement. I had a little bar attached to it, and we'd all, of course, have some cocktails to get in the right frame of mind. And we'd put in
having Vodka de Milo on the podcast a few years ago. That's a story. Yeah. Anyways, go ahead. Sorry.
No, we put in Live at Donegan. It was AC/DC. We just plugged that in, and that was sort of the inspiration where we want. Now we didn't want to cover those songs. The idea we were going to write the songs, but that was kind of the attitude we were going for, and the straight ahead, like guitars, like no nothing, no reverb, no anything, just straight rock.
Hell yeah! My I had to say, Vodka de Milo, Wanamaker is probably my favorite song. I love that fucking song.
Well, thanks. That's that song. Actually, that song came from, this is funny. We were working on some other song and it just wasn't going anywhere. And that never ended up being anything. And Greg actually, and of course it's loud and confused and alcohol's involved and smoke-filled room. And Greg gets in my ear and just starts going, wah, 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 wah. He's just shouting that in my ear. And so I'm so I start playing that on guitar, and that was the beginning.
That's awesome.
That's where it came from. And then I was trying to figure out what it was. And I'm like, I'm D. And then we do it. And I had a lot of fun with that song. And it has a certain progression. And what I'm a little proud of, at the very end, we take the chorus and it has its chord progression. Then we turn it like kind of inside out and start playing it from the middle out. And you really don't notice those subtle things. I love that about songs where, you think it's one thing. And then when you sit there and you try to play it and like, oh my God, what are they doing? Oh, that's way cool. And it sneaks past you. You think we're doing the same thing. We're not. We completely turned it inside out.
Hell yeah.
We didn't start on G. We started on F and blah, 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 blah. But not to. Here, I'll write it out for you. No.
Hell yeah. I got you. That's awesome. I love to hear like the origin story of one of my favorite local band songs. So yeah, I love that album. But I love that style of music. You know what I mean? So and always enjoyed when you guys played. So
I always loved it. Vodka and Milo was I still just love wonderful memories.
Oh yeah.
And always had a blast, and just something about it. And also with like the melody and vibe, with it. And then we were just loud and in your face, and love getting loud with the guitars. Gotta love that.
Man, I don't think you were able to make it to that podcast, but we had that. I don't know which number it was, but it was before Midweek Crisis and Hair of the Dog. We had a show called Live Party Radio Hour.
Okay.
Never actually lasted an hour, but so it was. Oh man, who was all there? It was Brenner, Burke, and the drummer, forgot his name.
Glenn.
Sober Glenn. Yeah. And I say sober Glenn.
And he's insane.
Oh, dude, like Brenner and Scotty were both hammered drunk when they showed up. Hammered.
Imagine that. Imagine that.
Glenn was obviously sober.
Mm-hmm.
And when people show up for a podcast and they're already tanked, I'm like, this is gonna be good. But little did I know that Glenn was gonna be the crazy one.
Oh yeah,
that dude knows how to party.
Yeah.
He's like the Andrew WK of partying. You don't need alcohol, you don't need drugs, you just need the right attitude.
Right. He's 150% all the time.
Like, let's go, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah,
That's Glenn, man.
That's exactly it. And a friend of mine was like roommates with him, and we were talking about him, and he said, yeah, and Glenn's like that. He's like that until he crashes. You'll be on the couch. He's like, yeah, you gotta fuck that girl. And I was like, he sound asleep. It just goes like that. And I heard that too. Well, he played with Danny. Danny said the same thing. They would be driving him home and like let him go, and he goes in the back seat. It's just and all of a sudden sound asleep.
It's crazy. So Jeanette asked, oh yeah, actually, so real quick, Jeanette said, can people come on Hair of the Dog? Yes. I went ahead and shared the link. So if I might have a window pop up. Maybe someone will come on the show. I don't know why she asked that. Her Tenacious D cover of Wicked Game. Right on. Maybe Cornholio does actually watch the show. Maybe I was wrong.
Oh yeah.
Thom is without a doubt the most versatile guitarist I've had the pleasure of performing with.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Danny. Danny's, as everybody knows, top talent. And just
amen.
The top of everything. One of the most wonderful person I've ever had a chance to work with, and most incredible voice.
Both of you guys.
God,
both of you guys.
My God.
Amen.
And he was Danny was a big influence. You talk about influence. Well, so I joined when I got with Bigger Than Elvis. Danny was like constantly a source of like a little bit of roots about some bands, and Danny would just get really deep into it. The amount of detail he had, I thought I had a little bit of history. Danny could fill in the blanks. He really knew it. So that was just love Danny. Man,
Bigger Than Elvis.
Yep.
Yeah. I was lucky enough to see them a couple times in my time.
That was a special band. I think what made that good, everybody when we first got together, we were at Mo and Johnny's and never had a bad night. It was packed every single night. And then every now and then I'd come in and it wasn't really full when I got in. I'm like, okay, it's not going to be packed tonight. That happens. It kind of shocked me the way it went, the whole run until we left. And it would start real slow. By the end of the night, it's completely packed. Or we do a gig and at the end of the night, well, it's kind of thinning out. And I'm like, well, obviously it's got to. It can't be. You can't have a house gig and pack it every night. And then, but the next one, be absolutely packed.
Hell yeah.
And it was. And I think it worked because everybody, Danny would run his own bands. Tufty obviously was somebody that, was always a band. And Mark Cutzinger was kind of like, if he's in a band, he's having a lot of say. And I'm pretty much, the bull in the china shop too. So it was all these four people that are used to having an awful lot of say in it, and yet we blended together so well, like right from the start. And like we would, if we learned songs, we'd go over to Tufty's house and, you know, having a couple acoustic guitars, and Mark's, you know, sitting drums on a magazine, and Tufty's plugged into it like a tiny amp, and I'm listening to it, and I'm like, oh, this it doesn't sound like we worked out anything. And then we get up and play the song, and it would be just it'd be perfect, and we'd play it that way every time.
Hell yeah.
And it would just come together so magically. It was like that was a really magical lineup.
Hell yeah.
But bands run their course, and it's okay.
Yeah.
It's all done. But that was a real special band.
When did Bigger Than Elvis officially end?
Recently.
I was too, yeah.
Yeah, it was. It went through. It was about over 20 years.
Yeah, that's about right.
I was talking about the Mo and Johnny iteration. Puppy built a radio, and
that's
then
where I saw you guys first. Yeah. Radio.
And that was a different era for the whole rockabilly culture thing.
Oh,
going on, because we had the car clubs were formed there. You go to a rockabilly show.
Check it out. So, guys, for the first time ever, Carrie.
Hello, Jeanette.
Is on the podcast. What's up, Jeanette? Hell yeah.
Hello, gentlemen.
How you doing?
It's so cool to have you on the show with us.
I finally worked up the courage.
Hell yeah.
I said, fuck it. It's hair of the dog, so I'm going to come in all scraggly and shit.
Right on. And you know what? Your sound is good. Your video is great. Good job.
I kind of look like I'm naked. Here, position.
I mean, we're not going to say you aren't, but we're not going to say you are.
You can do what you want to do.
You mean you're not naked?
See, the little ponytails are hiding the straps.
There we go.
It's been so fucking hot, y'all.
Oh yeah, it's actually kind of toasty in here, honestly.
Is it good there in the garage?
I've had worse.
Okay.
Fine.
The jungles of cement.
Oh yeah.
No.
I mean, it's not too humid out, so. So what's up, Jeanette? How you doing?
I'm all right.
I just had a fly on my neck. You drinking? Fly on the wall. Shit.
I switched over to Sprite.
Okay, I was gonna say do a live shot, but hang on. Do a shot of Sprite. I hate these glasses so much. So, Jeanette, you got a question for Thom? You want to shoot one over?
Well, sure.
Or maybe Phil. Phil's here too.
Or maybe both.
Or maybe both.
I'm just here.
So,
Phil's down to clown. He's here, baby.
I don't really know you, Thom. I don't think that we've ever actually spoken, but what I've enjoyed knowing you through Facebook, I really love those libraries.
Oh, yeah.
Do you set up multiple ones, or do you just have the one, or?
No, I have ones, but I go out, and I've been lucky enough because of all the publicity and stuff. A lot of people have donated me books, so I have lots of books, and I take care of a bunch of libraries. And there's probably about 3 or 4 that I see regularly. But at one point, I went out and I stocked like 9 libraries. I remember in one shot, and because they're all over town, and so I like to support all the other libraries, and my library actually really works out, because a lot of them, I think, when I was first doing it, it was kind of like you're just giving away books. People just take them. But a lot of times people are dropping off books in there, and every now and then I'll see a book and I'm like, oh, that's new. I'll open it up and I have to stamp each book, and I'll have a stamp and I'll realize somebody had borrowed it and returned it. You have to stamp each book. Otherwise people will take them and try to sell them.
Well,
Yeah.
It's such a great idea.
Yeah, I love it. I just saw some car parked out in front on the other side of the street. There's also a free food place across from me at the MLK Center, and people usually park over there and stock it. And so I made a point of like looking, is this guy stocking it or picking up food? It was a pretty nice car for somebody picking up food. But then he came he had actually gone to my library and picked up a book and was going back, and it was I like that. Or people will honk when I'm stocking it. Makes me feel good.
Yes.
Doing the Lord's work, man.
Lording.
It's good stuff.
I appreciate technology, but there's just nothing like a book.
Right.
A physical book. the pages and
The smell.
holding it. Yeah.
The smell of fresh paper.
I think the idea there was a I think when I first put it in, I mean, I saw him, had seen him before, and I knew it existed. And then there was a bus stop there, and I thought my idea was, oh, you're waiting for the bus, then you grab a book. But I rarely see people
There you go.
doing that. But people
Mm.
drive by and pick up books all the time,
Hmm.
and I'll bring kids and everything, and I like that.
Dave,
Good.
Great.
looks like
Yeah.
Dave Cole chimed in. He said, "Hey, Tom."
Hey, Dave. I played. Well, that was one of the early bands I was in called Blue Hue and the Color Tones, and Dave was the drummer for that.
Wait, what was that band name?
It was called Blue Hue and the Color Tones.
Blue Hue and the Color Tones.
Blue Hue, and we'd play the Vogue. We had a big horn section and everything. A very popular band.
Hell yeah.
And that was when suddenly, wow, I can actually get paid and make a living. Playing in a band. Wasn't much of a living, but and oddly enough, you're talking about money. We were paid about the same amount we're paid now. Whatever. 30 years later, this was in the early '80s, like '82 or '83, 4 or 5, and you get, if you did 100 a night or 150 a night, wow, you're doing really good. And you could, apartments were like $300. Now I go out and I get paid maybe 100, maybe 150 a night, and apartments are like $1,200. And so yeah, it's kind of a cruel joke there.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to bring the vibe down.
No. Yeah, music definitely does not
Yeah,
pay.
you do it because you love it.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, you should do it because you love it.
I literally, when I get on stage, I just want to watch. I just want to make people move.
Mhm.
I want to see people dance or get down. Or
Right.
I mean, acting crazy is cool. Like people be acting crazy. I'm like, all right, yeah. But as long as those feet are moving, that's what I like.
Mhm.
That's what I'm all about.
Right.
I love entertaining people, and that's why I do it. So,
Getting a reaction.
yeah,
that's
if
it.
I did it for the money, I'd be fucked.
Yeah.
Like so fucked.
Yeah.
Especially like I think I have like 2 house shows coming up here in the next couple months. So ain't no money in playing house shows. It's all about the feet moving. You know what I mean?
Well,
So,
if you're making somebody happy and you're getting that interaction, somebody's appreciating it. I think that's what it is.
that was a 6.5. Jeanette.
No way, that was too high a ranking. That ain't-
6.5 on the
I had to
Richter
do it
scale.
though. I
That
had
was
to do
too
it. You're
generous.
like the official ranker of burps of
I
chocolate.
know.
All right.
Then I have extra expectations for performance. I gotta really deliver.
6.5 on the Richter scale.
Oh no, that was nothing. That was nothing.
Yeah, we've had some pretty gnarly burps. We've never had like a lengthy one though. Have we ever had a lengthy one, Jeanette?
No, that's what I want. One
Right.
time Rich was asking, well, what are your parameters? Which is a fair question. Loud, long.
Well, some people can talk with their burps. I had
That's the
a guy we
best,
grew
yeah.
up with that could actually say things
Yes.
with burps.
Wow.
That's
And,
the best.
And he could seem to burp as long as he wanted to. If he didn't, he just, it was hilarious. Or we'd have him go into, this was when we were pretty young. He'd go in to order something like, can I get a cheeseburger and fries or something like that?
Oh
And
my
he'd
God,
order it.
that's so great.
Yeah. Or like he could do the alphabet.
Oh,
He
no.
could like literally, and then one time it was like, how long can you burp? And he goes, well, it's limited by how much he can hold his breath. Cause when you're burping, so he could literally just and he said his dad taught him how to do this and would have him just kept egging him on as a kid.
Now,
That's a
where is this
skill.
man? Who is this man?
This
Where
guy's
is
name was
he?
Paul Renaud. He lives up in I don't know, like Florida now or something like that. This was a long time ago.
We need this man.
I
in our
know.
lives.
You guys,
I think I had him do Shakespeare once.
Oh my
To
God.
be or not to be? That is the question.
Now was a winter of our discontent.
Yeah.
Oh, yay.
Totally just reminded me of Rick and Morty, like Rick Sanchez.
Yeah.
Is everything he says, Morty, there's a burp behind it. Pretty much. I actually used to do that, be able to do that voice. So, have you guys ever met anybody that could fart on demand? So many
wish.
people
Oh.
could burp on demand, but I actually
that's
know
good.
one
That was a good
person
one.
that
Really?
could like fart on demand.
Oh,
So they
that's
can
ridiculous.
suck air into their butthole and push it out.
yeah.
don't
You
know. How are they
can't
doing
fart
this?
on the man.
No.
What
I'm
does he
not
have
lying
to-
to you, Tom.
does
I
he-
know somebody. His name is Heath Johnson. He resides in Ashland, Ohio. That's where I grew up.
What is he like? Constantly eating broccoli,
Oh,
hard-boiled eggs, and
no.
Who
beans,
fucking
or
knows?
something?
But it was ridiculous. Like, there is no safe space when you hang out with Heath. That motherfucker could just fart on demand.
Developed his.
You're sitting there playing
sphincter.
Game Boy. Motherfucker walks by and just get you. Like, fuck you. Yeah. That motherfucker, man. He's a cool dude, though. He's
Were
drummer.
they stinky? Were they stinky
I don't
farts?
fucking remember. Probably. I would assume it's gas. It's
Well, they
like
have different
fecal
levels.
matter blowing out someone's butthole.
Farts
I'm
have
pretty
different
sure it's
levels of
stinky.
scent.
So he's just walking around going, pull my finger, or maybe, or can you check my pants? I think I ripped them.
Oh my god.
No, it's funny you brought this
Oh,
up.
no.
It's funny you brought it up, Shep, because on multiple occasions, I've wanted to initiate a fart off in your show, but I figured
Fart
you would not
Wow.
appreciate me doing that.
A fart off. Somebody's gonna shit their pants, Jeanette.
Yeah.
Fart
that's-
off.
That happens.
That's just
You run that risk.
it's not gonna
Yeah.
end well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just have
Yeah.
a feeling that someone will end up shitting their pants. We're actually before the show started.
How would you do a
We're-
fart off? I mean, you have to,
Just
you have to
the
set
way
this-
people randomly burp whenever they have the urge, encouraging farting when one pops in.
Well, you're
cues
making it
into the
competitive.
butthole.
Then
Let it
you have
rip.
you have to like not everybody only gets this amount of cabbage, this amount of broccoli, and then we see who has the best farters.
Oh my God. Or just, pick
Yeah.
up a Crave case and give it a
Oh my
solid
God.
30, 45 minutes to fucking
Oh,
brew
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
in. I think we lost your fucking camera.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
whose camera?
Yours. Gosh.
Oh, I can see me.
You're not
Uh-oh.
on the big screen.
I'm not on the big screen.
Yeah.
What did I do now?
I don't know. Did I do something or?
No.
What's going on with Spacey Wacy, Keller?
Ah, you know about that, huh?
Well, you've been doing
Nice.
it for a while, haven't you?
A few years, yeah.
Yeah. What's the most
Okay.
requested outfit right now?
It had been Resistance X-Wing
Am I on? All right.
outfits. Lately it's been pretty dead. I either need to do more, something different, something else entirely, or go back to pulling cable or something like that. I don't know. I've been milling that over lately.
Did COVID
Anyway,
affect it? Did COVID affect your business, or it didn't matter?
a little bit. I don't know. Not too terribly though. It kept going during that. It's been this past year. It's been really.
Are you guys
dead.
talking about the movie Jumanji?
Yes. No.
Okay. I lost the.
No costume stuff.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I don't-
Spacey Wacy.
Yeah, that's my name of my business.
Spacey
Nice.
Wacy. Oh, okay.
It's a Doctor Who reference. Big shock. So
I'm taking notes.
Doctor Who, you should watch it.
That's a BBC show, right?
Yes, it is.
Mhm.
I think I've only seen, I don't know, like 10 fucking seasons of it.
Oh, to tie into little libraries, there's a Doctor Who library on Central at just a little south of 46th Street. It's really cool. It's the blue box,
Really?
It's a
There's
little free
TARDIS.
library.
Aw.
There's a TARDIS on your way
Yeah.
here, by the way, on 13. I don't know if you guys saw that, but on the
No.
oh yeah,
Oh,
on the
cool.
east side of 13 when you get off
Awesome.
69, which I want to let everybody know, like, if you're on 69, don't get off it. It's great.
Never get
Uh,
off 69.
That's right.
But yeah, there's a TARDIS right there on 13. Before whatever.
I gotta see this.
Yeah. So
Okay.
if you take 13 back to 69,
Okay.
it'll be on your left hand side. You'll see it. There's a
Wow.
TARDIS right there. Yeah. It's like a landmark. Like
All
it
right.
says, like, hey, you're halfway to the middle of fucking nowhere. And it's we
You're-
literally are.
You're on the edge of the
Fucking
known
nowhere.
universe, and here's your TARDIS.
Yeah. At least we're in Madison County, UFO county of the world. So
Oh, that's right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Plus the
Really?
third kind. Yeah.
Okay.
I never thought when I was, I loved Close Encounters of the Third Kind. It was like one of my favorite movies growing up. It's my
Yes.
mom's favorite movie ever. I never thought that I would end up living in this county. Like, holy
Yeah.
shit. So
Cool.
but yeah. I watched I've probably seen, so you know how it's like the newer ones or whatever.
Yeah.
I can't remember everybody's name, all the doctor changes. But I probably stopped watching them consistently 5 or 6 years ago. So, but yeah, I thought it was really good. The one guy that was in the not Harry Potter, what are they? The newer ones called?
Oh yeah.
What's his name? That guy he was in the.
Well, David Tennant was in Harry Potter. He was
okay. So
I don't know the Harry Potter movie, so
shit, man, I don't know.
he was in it though, but he was also in Good Omens. He's been in a bunch of stuff.
I wish I had
he's
a
coming
computer
back,
and I could just look at
and
it.
you know he's coming back as the 14th Doctor. So Time Lords can
Okay.
subconsciously choose their own fate.
Yeah, so David Tennant is the one that I was thinking of,
Okay.
but I'm probably gonna have to go with Matt Smith.
Matt Smith, yeah,
Yeah,
very good too.
this is probably my
Peter
favorite
Capaldi
Doctor.
after him was one of my absolute favorites.
Oh yeah, he was really
The
good.
grumpy one.
Yes,
Yeah.
I forgot about him. He was
Totally.
fantastic.
And that was me.
The answer to your question is yes, I do have a crush on Jenna Coleman.
Ooh, okay.
Oh,
She was all right. She was on quite a while. She was like 2.5 years, and then I thought the Bill, his last companion, was super awesome too. She deserved more time, but anyway, sorry, Tom.
No.
I mean, we break into conversation. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I make sure I use the clickety clackety keyboard. That way everybody knows when I'm cheating. Googling stuff so I don't fuck things up.
Yeah, I'm an expert.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
I know.
I know
that's my
everything.
name. Yeah.
My middle name is Google. That's how much I know.
Googly eyes.
Giggly eyes. Oh my god. So Tom, do you have any favorite bands that you want to throw out there? Or you don't have to if you don't want to.
No, that's too slippery a slope to go up.
Yeah.
You know, there's
I had it has circled like I don't
Yeah.
know if I should ask this question, but I had it down just in case you want to go there. A lot of people hate that word, by the way, the F word, favorite. Yeah, because it's
hard to
narrow things down, you know.
Right. And there's so much out there, and there's so much to like and hate about things, and you know, there's ups and downs, and I think you know, it's with few exceptions, it's like all good, and I appreciate it all, and
ooh, I like to hear about the exceptions.
I got so here's something weird. So I was in that band Stockwell Road that really pretty much a roots country band.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
We're playing at the Melody, and Dave calls us up and says, "Hey, there's this thing called I can't even remember. It's like a Nightmare Wolf or something. They're from Nashville. They're kind of a heavier outlaw country thing. We want you to come in and open for them." So we come in and we're playing for them, and we get along great with the guys and everything. And they're pretty heavy and everything. And you're having conversations about music and everything. And I was like, as I was doing this, I was kind of thinking, well, I'm not into the whatever bro country or contemporary country. Although, you know, listen, it's really catchy stuff. The guitar is fantastic. It's something, you know, maybe it's a sin or something, and specifically the, you know, Florida Georgia line, you know, and we were somehow going there, and I was realizing that don't sit there and put down something that, you know, these guys might, you know, like, because I'm not saying I just hate it. Maybe there are parts of it I do, but parts of it I don't. This guy was the touring guitar player for Florida Georgia Line, and that would be one of the bands that I particularly, you know, kind of thought was, you know, a little processed, sort of it didn't fit into the paradigm of what I would call country music. But that's more pop and rock, and obviously are you kidding me? Like, you know, incredible, packing arenas and everything like that.
Yeah.
And it was just, I mean, we ended up getting along great, and we're friends, you know, and still correspond every now and then. But isn't that odd?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Georgia Florida line is actually one of the what's the term that I like to use? Innocent bystander. I actually saw them live.
Okay.
Innocent bystander.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen so many country bands by.
Was it good? I mean, imagine.
Yeah. I mean, like you said,
good,
it's very processed, and that's kind of like what's popular, regardless of genre. Radio friendly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, for sure. Do you have a album that I don't want to use the F word, but is there an album that really inspired you at any point in your life?
It's hard to, but that'd be really early on when I was playing. I like, because I like blues guitar or something. It was John Mayall's Jazz Blues Fusion I really liked. And then there was also a Robin Ford played with Jimmy Witherspoon, and I sort of liked that. And when I was growing up, there was a guy named Johnny Blanchard, an old black guy that really played on Indiana Avenue, and he would kind of somehow fall into that. He'd come out to the parties and be playing, and he had a big Gibson ES 175. So and he really played jazz. He was the real thing. He was like, he knew Wes Montgomery and had played, and sort of tells this story that, he and Wes played together, or he influenced Wes, which is Johnny liked to talk. And, but he was there, and that was really what was going on. It was amazing to have that influence. And so that's something, I'll pick up the guitar and kind of play, and all those, if you ever seen me and I do my little warm-ups with those weird chords, that's all Johnny Blanchard. And you do whole solos with chords and things like that. So.
Hey, Tom.
Sweet.
Yes.
Do you like using slides? Like, I have a bottleneck and then I have a metal. Yeah. Do you like doing that?
I'm not a good bottleneck slide player. I play steel guitar.
Oh, sure you would be.
Don't. Well, no, actually, I don't
so
think
fun.
I am. I do it, but I do steel guitar. That's what I do. But
yeah, excuse my ignorance. Like I said, I might ask you
I do the steel guitar.
Questions.
That's steel guitar, non-pedal steel. I do play that.
Well, right, and I'm glad I didn't pretend that I was your biggest fan, because I would have just fucking outed myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I respect you. I've known of you, but that's why I had to ask. And I got one more question. Did you ever get to see John Lee Hooker here in town?
No, I didn't. But there's a very famous man named Yank Rochelle that, wrote when played with Sleepy John Estes, and, had some of the earliest blues songs. And I'd played with him, and I played with a lot of people in town. He's very famous. And on the Blues Brothers movie, he caught the Katy. That's the first song they're playing. That's Yank Rochelle and Sleepy John Estes song. And he was a guy there in town that was kind of hanging around the blues scene. And I played with another guy, Lefty Bates, who was a Chess Records bass player.
Chess Records.
Yeah. So
armed.
There's a rich history in Indiana of that.
Absolutely. Do you know the man who owned the World Record Shop on Keystone? I don't know how he's doing. I haven't spoken to him since like the 90s, but do you know who I'm talking about? The World Record Shop?
I think I do. And I can't really think of that right now.
Well, the reason I brought him up was when I used to go hang out there because it was such a cool place. And he said John Lee Hooker came to town one time and they fucking cut the electricity off at where he was playing after 10. Like they didn't want to let him play.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
I
don't know what the venue was, but only in Indianapolis.
Yep.
Are they going to pull the plug on John Lee Hooker for breaking curfew?
No account for, and historic individual too. Yeah.
I love him. He's probably one of my all-time favorite of the original blues masters.
Right.
Elmore James. Oh man, I love old ass blues, old blues.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Cool. Yep.
They shut
stuff
down.
In the 40s and 30s and stuff. Yep.
Shut down John Lee Hooker. Oh man.
Can you believe that shit?
Absolutely, I believe it. Absolutely.
Wow.
Probably didn't even know who the fuck he was.
Of course not.
The person that actually pulled the plug.
Of course not.
Just working my sound over here.
That's cool though, Tom. Your blues experience. That's super cool. That was interesting.
Yeah, it was great to be able to, play with. I think they're gone now. They passed away. So that was something great to get to see artists like that.
Do you happen to have any artists that you've seen live that really stood out to you?
I would say when I go out, I'm like, well, I'm thinking back and like I'm going back to old, again, I'm like, and I'm doing this all. I was really into like the jazz and blues sort of things. I remember seeing Kenny Burrell and Gatemouth Brown down in Bloomington at the Bluebird, and those were, and then when they were still alive and playing, and those were, it's almost like a music education sort of thing to see, and that was really something. And the way, and their narrative, the way they talk, and John Hyatt would play at this. The original Crazy Owls was a seminal and very famous club that punk rock club on the corner of College where the Jazz Kitchen is. But the original Crazy Owls was across the street where 21 Tap is, and was a narrow shotgun thing early on. That was the original location of that, and that's where I'd see when I was in high school. I'd go down and see John Hyatt played. He had already written his hit song with Three Dog Night, sure as I'm sitting here, and gone to Nashville, and he'd just come back, and he would have this story. I mean, I know that because that was his narrative. I'm a born-again Hoosier, lived in Nashville for a while, and what really was one of the things that fascinated me and made me want to play. I wanted to be like the singer-songwriter, seeing John Hyatt do that, because he'd play piano, he'd do songs, he'd tell these stories, and it was incredibly engaging. And John Hyatt, I'm sure you might not even be aware of how much he's done and how many incredible hit songs are actually written by him that he didn't, other people did. And they're really well done, and just an incredible songwriter, and just a whole personality on stage. The way he would speak, and he's funny and very articulate and very intelligent too.
Danny said Jesco White. He threw that out there.
Yeah, the Dancing Outlaw.
Mm-hmm.
That was if you're familiar with Jesco White, we got a call.
Yeah.
So Jesco White played at the Melody Inn. Scott LaRussa was working, who kind of hangs out there, and he was somehow got involved with Jesco and brought Jesco to the Melody Inn, and they had shows all lined up and scheduled, but suddenly Jesco White, the Dancing Outlaw, is going to perform at the Melody Inn. I don't even know how this happened.
I was there for it, by the way. Okay. I was there with you.
Well, I was there, and what Scott calls me up, and he's like, I'm having trouble getting music going for it. We got to get something for Jesco. And I was like, what, you want me to play? And he's like, what could you? And I'd seen the Dancing Outlaw, and he kind of had some songs. He did sort of the finger style. And I was like, yeah. And I'm trying to think, if I could really do that. And I called up Danny. I think Danny was kind of reluctant at first, like, what are you talking about, Thom? Well, and so we went up, and we were the band for Jesco White, the Dancing Outlaw. And he had this little 3/4-inch plywood thing that looked like the highway, like in his movie, because he's tap dancing on the highway at the opening of the movie. And he did his thing. And when we got to the Melody, they were holding the doors, and there's a crowd outside. I mean, it was like, I have no idea how all these people knew this thing was happening.
Oh, it's because it's that movie, though. The Wild, what was it?
The Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia. Well, that was the last one. There was Dancing Outlaw, and then Dancing Outlaw 2, and then the Wild Wonderful Whites. And actually, I'd seen those, and this is fun. I was in the Melody. We'd already set up to play, and my brother sends me a picture of him and Jesco White. My brother works in Louisville, and he had met Jesco in the airport. He goes, "Hey, look, a picture of Jesco in there." And I go, "Oh yeah." And I go, "I'm playing with him tonight." I text him back, and I had a little video of Jesco going, "Hey," and I call him my brother's Johnny Cakes. And he's like, "Hey, Johnny Cakes, sad you're missing the show." So that's fun. But Danny and I played for it. It was absolute insanity with how packed it was. And he was a character. And we were grossly underpaid, right there, Danny? Because that was, but, it was an experience. Glad to do it. And that was fun.
Yeah.
That was wild.
I still have my ticket.
Did you play the Mel before Rob and Dave were there, or
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, they had started to do music. I think Rob actually worked there. I don't remember that, but he
Yes.
said he would
Yes.
just work there.
Yes, he
Dave
did.
and Rob both worked there before they owned it.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
Rob was part-time.
They started doing music, and at one point the Rostabilly Rebels would go in, and where the stage is now, picture like 2 more booths pushed up against the glass. I mean, we could barely fit the whole band into this little tiny area right up against the glass, and we played there on like Sundays or something for a little while.
Okay.
And I don't think it ever went crazy or anything, but
very cool. All right.
And then they started the band, and oh, here's my melody story. I created the Friday happy hour thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
For real? That's
Hillbilly
awesome.
happy hour.
Yeah. So what was going on was so Bigger than Elvis was a band that had played together. They had gone to Radio, and they were going 3-piece. And so I'd sort of stepped away from Bigger than Elvis, and Rostabilly Rebels were coming over and practicing in my basement. And by practicing, I mean playing and drinking a whole bunch. And I went over to and because we played together for years, and that was so. I went to Dave, and I think it was Dave. I kind of went in, and I told the story of when Indiana changed their 2-tier drinking law and they got rid of happy hour. Happy hour used to be a really big thing here. And this was in the 80s. They decided, well, you can't have 2-tier drinking. You have to have the same price all the way. So happy hours were killed. And we would play the patio on weekends. And Chubby wanted to have people coming in on happy hour. So he'd make the bands play on happy hour on Friday. So you had to go in and play at 5 o'clock for like an hour and a half, and then come back and play at 9 to 3 that night, which would wear you out. But what I remember is there were sometimes we'd go in and play happy hour, and that'd be the best part of the night.
Hell yeah.
It was completely packed. It was absolute insanity. I was like, I love this.
Yeah.
And then of course we're back there and we're going, and by 3 at night, it's all emptied out. And I'm like, well, I liked happy hour. And I went to Dave and Rob, and I go, listen, they used to do this happy hour thing, and it really worked. And the band start playing really early, like 7 o'clock. And I said, we'd like to come in. I said, Rostabilly Rebels would like to come in. Don't pay us anything. Don't charge anything. We'll just play. But here's what we want. We'd like you to open the bar up and let us drink whatever we want. And we'll see where this goes. And
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Technical difficulties.
There we go.
Well, shut you.
That was cool.
Yeah, if we lose me, oh shit. Yeah, but now my camera is the wrong angle.
Aww.
Yeah, but yeah,
That's
anytime
okay.
that my shit goes out, the whole show basically.
Hot is over.
well, that was the
No, Tom started going, like something happened with the audio, and it got real cool and trippy for a minute.
where was I at in this wonderful story?
I don't. Talking about Hillbilly Happy Hour and
Rostabilly,
how you were wanting them to open the bar for y'all.
Yeah, well,
so
we did the happy hour and we did it for a while, and then actually I got a job with another band that was playing and paying and everything, and so we moved to Thursdays, and the Drunken Deacons took over the Friday slot, but the Friday slot stayed ever since, and that's a wonderful tradition, and I'd like proud that I kind of I had to push him into it, and and Dave Brown will still talk about it. It's like they would give free drinks, and pretty much the Rebels killed that idea. It's like, well, after the Rebels drinking, we're not letting bands have free drinks. Jesus Christ, we're losing money.
There went our overhead. Oops. Yeah, I thought for a long time it was the Deacons who started that, but okay. All right.
It was actually Rostabilly Rebels.
All right.
Forever, yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah, and that'd be right. And they Deacons were there for like a decade or more.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think, that was a long run. And it was like, and I think the Drunken Deacons really made it what it is because honestly, Rebels would have been too selfish to share it. Whereas the Deacons always had other bands come in. And then, to think, the Reverend Peyton and his big damn band actually started, or in a sense, that's a band that, that tours nationally.
Well,
And
Right.
their early gigs were at the Hillbilly Happy Hour.
was in Stockwell.
Really?
Was that also
Well,
starting point for them?
Well,
For you guys?
Stockwell started Thursdays. So Rossabilly Rebels did
Oh.
Thursdays for a while,
Okay.
and then that kind of
Okay.
went away. And I was like, that point, there was a band called the Alligator Brothers, and this guy named Rick Bennett,
Yeah.
who was very famous. I got asked to fill in for them, so I'm tooting my own horn now. But so that's how I kind of evolved out of that. And then let's see, I decided. Really, well, you're talking about playing and wanting to get people to move their, what motivates you to play. I just enjoy playing my guitar. I just want to play my guitar, and I want not sitting in the basement doesn't work for me. I want to,
Right.
get in front of some people doing it.
Imagine that.
And that was the idea. I just with Stockwell, I got with Will, and we. I said, "Do you want to play?" And he pulled me together, and he had a little band, and we went down to the basement and played. And I said, "Well, hell." I went to Dave, and I'd already done the Rossabilly Rebels things on Friday and then also on Thursday. And I said, "Hey, can we come and start playing on Thursday?" So we just instantly started playing on Thursdays.
Cool.
And that all just went together real fast. And Stockwell Road played for, 15 years or something like that.
Yeah.
A long time, very
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he had a voice of his, man.
Yeah, he was incredible. Yeah,
Yeah.
Bill was incredible.
Yeah.
And also,
R.I.P.
Yeah.
well, here's you like stories. Here's funny stories. My lowest pay gig would be a Stockwell gig because we were playing the melody on Thursdays, and sometimes nobody would show up, and we're done with one night, and you'd had some regulars pop in, but nobody really showed up at all. And at the end of the night, Will walks up and he holds up $1. He says, "Hey, look, somebody put $1 in the tip jar," and I'm like, "Break it."
Yeah.
And so I literally paid a gig and I played a gig and got paid $0.25, and I'm proud of that.
Wow.
I am proud of that story. I've told it a lot.
Nice.
It's legitimate. That's legit. So nobody beats me for low pay in bands. Playing for free? No, that doesn't count.
Yeah,
It's got to be
It's
that
that whole
paid
quarter.
and that legitimate pay.
Get you a stick of gum.
That's right.
Yeah. What's the craziest show you've ever played? One come to mind?
I don't know. No, nothing jumps into mind. I've done, things where trying to think of people like running up on stage or stuff like that. I don't know. The Jessica White thing was pretty weird.
Yeah.
I mean, that was
Mm.
him dancing around and the crowd kind of interaction and everything.
Yeah. It was weird
was-
for sure. I was like sitting there like watching somebody just tap dance.
I think somebody came out to me and he goes, "I don't know. I feel like I should have to take a shower right now or something."
Nice.
See, like I always kind of relate, like crazy shows aren't always about what happens at the show, but sometimes getting to and from the show where shit kind of goes fucking sideways. I had a show in Kokomo back in like 2009 or 2010, and on the way back we were driving down 31 and a deer had ran out in front of the car in front of us, and they hit it head on, and the body of the deer went under the car. So when the tires ran over the deer, the guts went flying out.
Oh my God.
Just 1 second, it's like we're just driving, and then everybody in the car's like, "Deer," and the car in front of us hits the deer, and then all of its bloods and guts just go just you couldn't even see out the front window. It was just blood. We were literally seeing in red.
That's insane.
That's you know what I mean? But so it's not always about, somebody moshing too hard and slipping and smashing their head on a fucking speaker. Shit like that.
Oh, I've got an outrageous story. We were kicked out of a hotel at gunpoint.
Yeah.
Kicked out of a hotel at gunpoint. This is a good one. And this is for real gunpoint.
I didn't know you were in Motley Crue. Holy shit.
No, so we're playing this was in Peru, Indiana, and we're and I thought of another story with that same hotel. This was a weird weekend.
Peru, Indiana.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So we get done playing, and I guess we got to play the next night. Yeah, we got to play the next night. So we're at the hotel, and bands don't have any money, right? So when we would go to a hotel, we'd get one room and just say, just 2 people would check in or one person would check in. I'm just here by myself. But we go into the rooms, we'd take the mattresses off the bed. So we had like 4, we'd had the box spring. Somebody got the box spring. Somebody had the mattress. I actually had a bedroll with foam. So I had something comfortable. So 5 or 6 of us can sleep in this room that we all just said one person's in there. So we go back and we're actually literally getting ready, for bed and everything. We've had the gig. The gig went well and everything. And we hear this knock on the door, and it's these waitresses and some people from the bar had somehow tracked us down. We didn't even know. We didn't tell them where we're playing or anything. And they're knocking at the door, and they have a big case of beer, and it's, hey, what are you doing? And let's party. And we're like, okay, come on in, and all this is going on. We're like, well, how in the world did you find us? He goes, oh, well, only one of these 2 places, so we just went up and said, hey, where's the band at? And we didn't check in saying that we were a band or anything, right?
Yeah, they just knew.
So I'm like,
they saw Thom Woodard and it was like, that's a guitar player right there.
And then you saw 6 dudes walk into that one room.
Well, at that point, I was kind of worried we were going to get in trouble or called out because just 2 of us had checked in saying we were just by ourselves and didn't say much of anything else. Wow. Yeah, so I'm worried at this point. And so we're drinking and smoking and all this is going on. And finally one of the gals, I need an ashtray. And then she just gets up and leaves. I'm like, oh, and she's gonna I'll go and ask for an ashtray. I'm kind of like, no, please don't do that. So she goes up to the office and is asking for an ashtray. And at this point, and then she comes back and they didn't have a damn ashtray and saying, I'm like, oh my God. And they go, they're asking what room we're in and all this stuff. And we're like, we are freaking busted. This is really bad. And so we actually start throwing it. We go, we're going to get kicked out of here. And we throw the mattresses on the bed and I'm rolling up my bedroll and getting suitcases packed. Cause I just know, I just have this vibe. We all know, we instantly know when she gets back, okay, she's like woken up the beast and everything. Yeah. And so this couple comes and I kind of now in retrospect, I think I feel sorry for them because they were just some older couple that owned this hotel. And, well, maybe I don't feel sorry for him, but he coming up and he walks up and he had a gun and you can see it and he's pointing down. He's got his finger, like this where the trigger is. And I'm like, you can tell that is a loaded weapon. Mm-hmm. And he's like, all right, you guys, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, we're leaving. Well, I've called the police. I go, well, call the police. We didn't do anything wrong. You got your money for the hotel night. We're leaving right now. And we literally threw everything in the van. And those girls had already left and gave us their address so we could stay out at their place and or one of their places. And I remember as we drove off, the back door of the van kind of flew open and some trash fell out, just like in a cartoon, where you're doing a fast getaway. It was just it's like that's being kicked out at gunpoint. I mean, he didn't have to point the gun. That gun was loaded and locked and loaded, buddy. And it was nothing ever happened. I mean, they can't arrest us for what, we tried to cram 2 people in the room, but there you go.
So real quick, Benny Nuggets said, hi, Thom.
Hi, Benny. How are you?
And then Benny said, hi, Phil.
Benny.
So there was a question asked earlier, and I'm going to go back to it. I wrote it down. So I believe it was Laura that asked if you were from Indiana or if any of us were from Indiana.
I'm from Indiana.
You're from Indy? Are you Indianapolis?
Indianapolis, born in Methodist Hospital.
Right on.
Okay.
What about you, Phil?
St. Vincent's.
St. Vincent's.
Yeah.
Is that?
That's a hospital in Indianapolis.
Oh, I thought maybe
northwest
Idaho
side,
or
northwest side.
St. Vincent's, Idaho.
Yeah.
No, I'm being sarcastic. That's cool. Fuck yeah. What about you, Jeanette? Are you Indy?
I was born in Cook County Hospital. And they don't really even call it that anymore. But in 1969, they called it Cook County Hospital.
That's the region.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Arlington Heights. My mom and dad and I lived in a trailer in Arlington Heights, Illinois.
Right on. I'm a Samaritan Hospital, Portland, Ohio. I come from the water. Yeah, I'm a Buckeye. I consider myself a Bouger.
A Bouger.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
I actually came up with that earlier when I saw the question. I was like, I'm a Buckeye, but really, I'm a Hoosier. I've been here since 99. So
Okay.
I'm half Buckeye, half Hoosier. I'm a Boozer.
Boozer.
Yeah.
I love Indiana. I make fun of it, but I love it.
I mean, you gotta make fun of it.
Yeah.
It's home.
Yeah.
And it's just been amazing how it's evolved over the last 20, 30 years. Especially for those
it hasn't
of us
evolved
that
at
were,
all.
Well, those of us that were punk, goth, alternative DIY musicians in the 80s, you were real limited in a lot of things. I mean, there were always things going on thanks to Bill and Marvin and other people like them, but
that's true.
it's amazing. Like the idea that there's a weekly event that was not happening before.
It got me to come up back up from Louisville for shows because, well, it's still debated. 99 or 2000 when Puck Rock and I actually started. Greg says it's 2000, but whatever.
Yeah.
I remember that debate.
Do you remember the Goth Nights? And
yes.
It was 1999, wasn't it?
Yeah. Craig Chaos came on and kind of addressed that too.
And then there was a punk night on like Sundays. I thought it was started. It was actually before Brenner made it official. There was like this punk night or whatever. And I don't know. Maybe it's my imagination, but whatever.
No, it's not.
It's a fever dream.
No.
Wasn't Punk Rock Night on Sundays originally?
Yes.
I thought. Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. And I was. I was down in Louisville.
Phil and I can't remember the exact year. We're kind of, but I agree it. Yeah. But so Craig Chaos was talking about it and saying I think it's some guy named Mike or something. Somebody else started it first because what Greg had it probably was when Errol was on with DV.
Yeah. They were talking about that
because remember that's how it all started. DV would be playing places, and Greg was always trying to see him, and for whatever reason he didn't get there to the last second. Okay. I'm a wealth of trivia.
I do recall this conversation. I've heard this before too.
Wasn't this also after Greg kind of got shut down when the rest of the big shows? Party, the giant parties? I mean, I would go to those. I was there at the one where the cops came in.
It was the 4th of July Independence Party.
Yeah, I'd actually played a Bigger than Elvis show. I went in, go in the basement. It's all insanity. And Justin Allen was a great friend. I was sitting right next to him, and the music's so loud you can't hear anything. But all of a sudden, we see uniformed cops in there, and I'm like, here it is. We knew it was going to happen. I was sort of there like a little show of support.
If I was there, I would have been like, the strippers are here.
Right.
I was not there though.
No, it was hot as balls in there because they were trying to be respectful of the neighborhood and insulated the whole mansion. But that made it hot as fucking balls inside. Like literally, I was completely drenched in my own sweat, just being in there for a little while. And then I went home to change. And when I came back, everybody was freaking out and talking about how the cops had thrown Greg on the floor and shit.
No, he was out on the front in the grass, handcuffed, laying, face down with about 3 other people. I remember that when I got out, they'd already had him. He was handcuffed face down. I was like, holy shit.
Right. That's excessive as hell.
Yeah. But that was kind of, I thought that was kind of like the end of then he decided he needed to go professional.
Yeah.
Go pro.
Yeah.
Who needs the house party? I love that. And also at his parties, it's like you'd be in the living room and the band's playing in the sunken library area.
Yeah.
So the stage is not up. The stage is down. I love that.
Now that's where they do the live shows on Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah, they do that. They do it in that room.
All right.
Now they've got like all those like records in there behind them. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't been to the mansion for a while.
Yeah. They're
fixing it up.
Yeah, they're fixing it up.
Yeah. Well, I've been there since renovation in the kitchen and all that stuff. I don't think he should have taken the barbecue out in the background yard. I love that thing.
Oh,
that huge brick barbecue he had.
Oh, that's right.
That was majestic. Yeah.
They're building a tree house now. There's a tree house.
He's been building a tree house for 20 years.
Well, now it's for real.
All right.
Like it's legit tree house now. Yeah.
Is Craig gonna live there now, or
Probably.
Okay.
Like he's talked about it. He's like posted about it too, about how he's like so excited that there's actual treehouse. I'm like, right on, dude. Hell yeah, yeah. I love that place. I've played in a couple bands and practiced there over the years. So with Craig,
Cool.
So yeah, I love that place. It's like my home away from home.
Craig says it's haunted.
It is.
Right,
supposedly
right.
there's a room that
Yeah.
has.
Yeah, it's haunted by Craig
everybody says
Chaos, and it's his room. I'm just kidding.
No, it's not. It says, I don't think anybody's in it. He said there's a room where people really all say, yeah, shit happens.
I've stayed there a few times. Yeah,
in the haunted room.
I love the third floor. You make the turn to go up the stairs, and it says "Band sleep here." I'm like, well, there's your sign. Like, all right. Yeah, it's a cool spot, man. I can't tell you how many times I've either hung out there, partied there, slept there, or just sat on the porch and hung out with Craig drinking. So
it's a
good
great
times for
porch.
sure. Love Craig. Love you, bud. Even though you're not watching, he usually does though. Love you, buddy.
Craig is awesome.
Yeah. You ever had the you ever practiced or had a band based out of there?
I'm trying to think of it. I don't think I have. No, I don't think I played in the famous basement.
The famous
I
basement.
think I've been there for a couple of rehearsals and
Hell yeah.
Yep.
Sat at the bar.
Me too.
absolutely
Played roulette.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah. So many after parties. It's gonna be sad when it's gone.
Yep.
I am gonna miss it. I'm gonna miss it so much.
So you can buy it and move it in. And,
Sure. Yeah. Let me just whoop out that. Whoop.
yeah, that's spectacular. I can't think of the name. That's a famous neighborhood, whatever it is. It's just a small one.
The
And
tuck
it's,
away next door.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that I've been there. That's a neat place.
The tuck away. What is this? I don't think
The house right next to it.
Next
It's a
door.
famous house of a
Let's talk about
psychic.
that.
Super
Oh.
Like,
famous.
oh
know that.
man, and like in the 20s, like movie
Yeah.
stars and all kinds of people went there. Famous people went there.
hmm
I did not know this.
Pretty
Even
sure
like Walt Disney, didn't he fucking hang out there?
Oh yeah, it's like that. It's like it's
Wow.
beyond a who's who of businessmen and senators and probably presidents. I don't know, but no, the Tuckaway is a famous place.
Yeah.
There was some kind of home tour. I just recently was in there. That you could walk through it for something I can't remember, a couple of years ago.
And they might as well make some money with tourism, right? If they don't, I don't know.
Well, I think it was some kind of home show, and you could see a bunch of the homes there too. And the one that's up the street on the corner, that's a famous place too. Somebody ran a photography studio out of there, and we did band photos in there. And there's a tunnel from the garage to the house. I remember walking through that.
No shit.
And so
cool.
those are big mansions that are around there. When I was at the Tuckaway house, I was walking around, and then I saw somebody that lived there, and I mentioned Greg, and they're like, "Oh yeah, blah blah blah." And they showed me all these different little parts of it, and took me some parts of the house that they didn't.
That's awesome.
Shown to everybody, so it's really
All right.
neat place.
Yeah, I've only heard about it. No.
So
Mhm.
we are in the crazy hour still. So
Crazy.
Thom, have you ever dabbled in the drugs before?
Dabbled. Well, I like a friend of mine I talked about cocaine. It's like I don't ever pay for it. Don't turn it down.
Yeah. I like to say when in Rome. When in Rome.
So yeah, no, I did dabble in it, but I get teased for this. I'm a real high strung person, so that stuff doesn't, I don't need that.
I was kind of leaning into the old Jimi Hendrix stories where he would soak his bandana with LSD and fucking
Really?
go on
Oh my
stage
God.
Holy
Wow.
shit.
or whatever,
Yeah, you hear those stories. You see, one of the best performances at Woodstock is Santana and Carlos Santana, and supposedly he's just tripping his balls off during that. And you watch him play and how perfect it is, and that's just amazing to me. And who's the pitcher that said he pitched the no-hitter, this world record no-hitter, and he was tripping when he did that.
Yeah.
And he didn't reveal it for a while, but still sticks by it and says, "Yep."
Holy shit.
Yeah, I can't think of it. Pitched an absolute no-hitter, and it was something like, he somehow I don't know how you can take LSD in that when you have a game, but he like screwed up his timing or something and realized he dropped acid, and they said, no, we're about to play. Gotta get out there and play.
Drugs are bad. Drugs are evil, except for that guy right there.
Yeah, you might end up
really
pitching.
good. Give him some more drugs.
Yeah, drugs, and you might play real well at Woodstock or pitch a no-hitter. I mean, kids, you don't want that to happen.
Yeah. Oh man. So you were saying that there was another story about Peru. You said you had another one in your back pocket.
Oh well, this is kind of more of an elaborate story. So I worked at the guitar shop. They for some reason. Scott Valentine, who at the guitar shop, had all these guitar picks with little obscene things on them. It started with guitar homo. He had, because you're like, oh, we're really into guitar. It's a guitar homo pick, and he would make those. And then he had a whole series of them. And actually, I have them all. And and like a show me your tits pick, and you'd have these little picks that you could hand out to people and everything. That I got. Now, one of them said butt plug fever on it.
Blood,
right? And
butt plug fever.
So we're in Peru, and this was that same hotel with the old lady and the gray-haired man, and we're checking into the hotel. Now this is back in the 80s, so our hair's all foo-fooed up, and we're wearing kind of, pretty wild-looking stuff. And back then, when you do that, you're immediately pegged as, possibly not heterosexual or something. That was the immediate implication. Andy, the guy in Fugly's, the bass player, Andy Kuhn, and I, with this band, the Joneses. And
do you rock like the Fugleys rock?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Hell yeah. I love Fugleys.
Oh yeah, they're fantastic.
Yeah.
Just absolutely top notch. But anyway, Andy and I are going in to check in for the hotel, and they're like, and this would happen. We go in there, and he's got to get a credit card out, and she's like, well, who's staying? Just us. Well, what are you here for? Well, we're just here, just overnight. Just you two? Just us.
Was this before or after the other incident?
This was before the other incident.
Okay.
This probably had a lot to do with the gun too. So, well, I don't know if it had to do with the gun, but what happened was Andy pulls out his wallet, and he's got to get his credit card, and he's fumbling for it. And as he does it, a butt plug fever pick falls on the thing, and the lady's gray haired, and Andy doesn't notice this, and she's like leaning down really close to the pick, like staring at it so she can read it, trying to read this pick that says butt plug fever. And we're kind of like foo-foo hair and wild outfits, and I just literally am losing it. I'm like starting to crack up, and I'm biting the lip, and I'm letting all the air out of my lungs because I'm just about to start laughing, and I can't stop laughing, and I'm just like this is, and Andy's just oblivious to this, and she's leaning closer and closer so she can clearly read this pic. And I think at this point she's read it, and she's like, why does this say butt plug fever with these two guys? But that was my story. I could not stop laughing, and Andy didn't. It was like, get the credit card, get checked in, what the hell is going on? And I turn around and face the wall, and then like, okay. And I come back out, and then the pic is still there. She's still staring at it, and I'd start laughing again. And it just one of those hysterical laugh. If you ever had uncontrolled laughter, that's what I had. And I didn't. That would just make it worse if I started laughing. But that was my story.
Hell yeah, man. That's a good one. So I'm gonna cross this one off the list here.
It's rather flat for a butt plug. I don't understand.
Okay.
What is your favorite guitar you've ever owned?
Oh, you know what? I can't
You could try.
do that.
I used the F word again. My bad.
Mm-hmm. So I played the Stratocaster I still played in Vodka de Milo, and I've had that since the early 80s. And that's like my main guitar, and I'd like be addicted to that. So when I play that, I love it. So that's my favorite guitar. However, when I started playing with Will and doing Stockwell Road, actually bigger than Elvis, I got a Gretsch, and that's when I got the blonde amps and the Gretches, and those blonde amps are really magical combinations. So suddenly, I discovered that. I'd had the blonde amp. I was playing with bigger than Elvis. Bigger than Elvis kind of had sort of just started at the Mo and Johnny's. And somebody was trying to sell me this Gretsch for hardly anything. And I was like, well, I love it, but that's it's a lot of money. And they're like, why don't you try it out? When I took it out and plugged it in, all the guys in the band were like, oh my God, Thom. And I was like, what's going on here? The Filtertron pickups in the Gretches and the blonde Bassmans. That's what, Brian Setzer does. Again, all these guys with that amp, that's this magical combination. And so I really started playing the Gretches. And then Danny sold me my 6120. So I have a Country Gentleman 6120. And when I got with Stockwell Road, I'd like play just the Gretches were for Stockwell Road with really, really heavy strings. And then when I played with Rostabilly Rebels, it was just a Strat and my St. Blues. Oh, and a Telly I had too. And so my favorite guitars would probably be the Gretches. The 6110 I've been playing a lot, and my Strat, but I don't really have favorites. And then I got I have one of my favorite guitars. I got a 1940 Gibson L5, and I got it from Jeff Stevenson, and that's like a one-of-a-kind guitar, and it has the real Charlie Christian pickups that were from 1939 that this guy had, and the provenance on this guitar was originally acoustic, and it was a guy played in jazz and indie, and he put the pickup in like I think 1947, according to this little card that comes with it. And that guitar, the minute I played it, it just kind of jumps out at you. But that's a kind of collector's item-ish guitar. And I was doing a blues band called the Herald Angels, and that was like my setup for that was that guitar. And I went through all kinds of different amp combos. It just sounds good with everything, and a very unique pickup. 1939, all original stuff. And it's original volume controls. I don't turn the volume controls on at all or anything. It's just like I plug that thing in and play it. So I've got a lot of very favorite guitars. So
hell yeah, man, that's awesome. I can't even imagine how much that thing is worth.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
1940s Gibson L5, man, that is awesome.
If it was all original, it'd be worth the amount where I couldn't have ever bought it. But it's been refinished. I think the back has been off, but it's in. You wouldn't know it to look at it. And it was like, and originally was blonde, and this was refinished blonde and everything. They did a fairly good job. They missed. I like the fact on those early L5s, the back of the headstock was all black, and they didn't do that. And so I'm like, come on, guys. And the big devalue is the L5s in that era had triple binding that goes all the way around the fretboard. Mm-hmm. So this is embarrassing. And I think somebody was telling me they were the person that did it. Somebody went in and they refretted it and they sawed through the triple binding on every single one of the frets. And so, so a lot of little, in terms of making that as valuable as it would be if it was original, that's the devalue. That's why it's a playing guitar and I could afford it. Because I don't know, there's some guitars that would be so valuable I wouldn't want to, play them out.
Yeah.
I'd be too scared to. Or
Did you ever play, or did you get any of Chris Etzel's amps that he was making?
No, yeah, and he was like, and he made effects too and everything. I mean, he was
pedals,
he was really talented. No, I didn't, and that's I wish I had, because that was deep.
You talk about the amps, reminded me about him.
Mm-hmm.
We miss him.
Yeah, he was a very talented. I was lucky enough to play with him in a band for a little bit. Yeah,
you did.
He was in PK and the Big Stir when I first joined. For a little bit, just for.
I might have seen that then. Okay.
Mm-hmm. That was wonderful, wonderful man.
Yeah,
wonderful man,
super guy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, for as long as you've been playing, man, like I think you're a little over 40 years, right?
Mm-hmm. Playing, sure. Yes. Yeah.
Have you ever had the opportunity to play with any of your heroes?
No, I never. The cards never fell down for me. I never did any of that stuff. Don't have any haven't recorded very much. It just didn't. I don't know. I think I just sort of drifted around thinking, try to be the best player I can, and if things are going to happen, they're all going to fall into place. I didn't aggressive, and I should have not done that. I should have aggressively gone out and seeked whatever my dream was. And I don't really know if I had some clear idea of what a dream. Like I said, I'd hear all these different genres of music and want to play them. I'd try to be faithful to the genre.
Hell yeah.
If I did that, same with bigger than Elvis. And, the unique band was Rostabilly Rebels was really a neat to go into, and country music too. When I had a lot of pickup country shows, and I'd play in that 6 hour a night, 6 set a night circuit, which is really pain. It's 45 minutes on, 15 off, and kind of a, just sort of I just get a call to fill in for a guitar player here and there. And I did play with a local guy, Tommy Oakes. He was like, "There's no set lists with this. These guys just start playing." And I think I joined one guy, had a little house gig at, like, "Guys have a set list?" And I go, "A set list? Well, I know 300 songs. How many do you know?" And he said, "I know 300. And these guys didn't know 300 songs, but they just pull it out, and you kind of just learn to, they start playing a song, and by God, I'm playing it. And every now and then I'd be playing a song and I hadn't heard it. Then I'd hear it on the radio and I'm like, "Oh, that's that song." And I'd go, "Hey, I kind of sound pretty much like the guitar in that." I don't know how that happened. It was
I just got attacked by a fly.
funny stuff.
Right.
You see
That's
Jethro, Tom?
Huh?
Jethro is giving you love.
Oh, there's Jethro. I love Jethro. He's one
He's
of
amazing.
yeah, he really is amazing. He's one. I go out and play with him. He would do shows. I just kind of weasel in on him. He'd have some. I remember playing at some Shelby Street Saloon or something. I don't know where it was. It's on somewhere on Shelby, and you're like sitting in a living room. It's a really neat vibe. I just show up with my guitar or mandolin and play with him. It was a lot of fun. He has some recordings of that too. Hi, Jethro. He's wonderful.
The old saloon on Shelby and
near Raymond.
Not Shelby.
Near Raymond.
Never mind.
There's Shelby and Raymond. And well, Jethro and I just recently played a gig together at Duke's. And it went really well. That was really good.
Oh yeah, somebody was asking about that. Holly Besson. Is that how that's pronounced? I would assume Bean, but it says Holly Besson.
Asking about Duke's?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So when Duke's started, well, this is interesting. So Stockwell Road's playing, Melody Inn, and we're like a roots country, and it's very polished. Will's very talented, and but all the bars that are country we'd come in, and we wouldn't go over well. They want us to play like Garth Brooks or Travis Tritt or all that, because then we just didn't do any of that. Yeah. And Will's just going to do what he's going to do. And he's going to pick out what song he's going to, Will runs the show, and well, it should be. It's called Stockwell. We never really fit into that. Well, Dukes comes along, and Dukes is like, "We're not having any of that. We're doing original music." And I think Gideon Wainwright was the one who was booking that. And I remember him calling me about it, and he goes, "Well, we're just going to do tips." And I was like, "Well, we'd like to get some kind of minimum." And so I booked something sort of way out there. And then I went in to check out Duke's, and I was familiar with the Ice House. I always thought that would be the perfect roadhouse when I'd gone there as a restaurant, because it looked so cool. I remember that. And the Roundups were playing there, and the place was packed, and they did really well. And I was like, wow. And then I was like, "Well, how'd you do?" And he goes, and they were all making really good money. And I said, I called Gideon back, and I like, "So you got a slot?" And so we started playing there regularly on Saturdays. We were one of the early bands in there. And then all of a sudden, all these bands that were, doing the pop, everybody suddenly was roots country, and that really sort of took off. So I'm kind of proud of that in a way.
Oh yeah.
And oddly enough, it was like I'd put in my time, because back in the 80s, after getting out of bands, I'd do these country bars, and that's what that music was about. It wasn't pop country at all. It was just your roots, your Waylon, Willie Nelson, George Jones, all that, just having to learn that idiom. So I'd actually done that for quite a few years when all this happened. So I like to think. So I've got some legitimate cred. I'm not an up and comer.
Hell yeah. So how many states would you say you've played in over the years?
Oh. Not as many as I would have liked to.
I feel that. I feel that for sure.
I don't know. 7 or 8, I think.
Is there a certain state you probably would, give it like, "Oh, I love playing there." Like for me, I love playing in Ohio, but I'm from Ohio.
That's your hometown.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
See, I'm trying to think back. So when I was in that band Blue Hue and the Color Tones, but we were more in the region. So we went up to Illinois and played in the region, but it's like we'd go to places we'd never played before. And then the band had a horn section, and we kind of opened with this big sort of fanfare horn thing, and it would get people up like right away. And so that always felt real good. I don't know. It depends on the venue and
Have you ever played Hammond?
Hammond, Indiana.
Yeah, I consider
Um,
that the region.
No, I haven't played Hammond, but well, I played a lot up around. We played in I think South Bend and Goshen, Indiana. Goshen was interesting. In Goshen, they have this. That's a real small town, and so we're on the square, and there's this big limestone. It looks like almost like a lighthouse or something. There's this big limestone thing, and it has these slots in it, like a castle from medieval. And what they'd say was it was put in the 20s, back when Dillinger was riding around and robbing all these banks with machine guns, and that was for the police to shoot out at the bank robbers with machine guns, for real.
Wow.
Yeah,
And you're like, my God, talk about the Wild West. That was interesting to see.
You know what's funny? Dillinger is actually buried right down the street from the mill.
Right in the
I cannot tell you how many times we've had a band come through at the
try
mill.
to go find the grave.
And that's literally, it's like, where's the band? Oh, they walked down to what's the cemetery called?
Oh, it's Crown Hill Cemetery.
Crown Hill. And that's what they're doing. They're going to visit Dillinger's grave.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, I live in that neighborhood. You can ride your bike all around there. And their problem with the Dillinger's gravestone is people keep chipping off it. And they break their gravestone and they're upset.
That's
and like
ridiculous.
I think the last time I tried to find it, I couldn't find it. They might have hidden it away or something.
Yeah, kind of like what's his name? Doors.
Jim Morrison.
Jim Morrison.
Yeah. Like his grave is
Paris.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yep.
Have you ever been down to French Lake?
Yeah. Played let's see. Well, there's West Baden and French Lick. And
West Baden.
I can't remember which one it is, but there's a hotel with a big L in it. We played in the center of the L. And that's outside.
What?
And
You've played down there?
Yeah, and that's where there's a fountain. It's like when nature won't, Pluto water will, or something like that.
That's a laxative. That's French Lake.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
the home of labor. Yeah,
that's
French
beautiful.
Lake.
And then when we got done, we went into this bar, and this bar had this whole wall of this from this really cool stuff. I guess it was from I don't know, I don't even know how to explain it. It was like this really cool, Andy. You'd love it, Phil, because it was like 1940s meters and everything. It looked like the old Frankenstein movie type stuff. The whole wall was done.
Cool.
It's like cool. It's just beautiful. I love that area.
I do too.
I'm going to save up some money for a couple of years and then go stay there for one night.
Right.
Yeah, my dad a long time ago, he got a timeshare at the French Lick resorts.
Okay.
Like back in the day. And my parents still have it. So once a year, there's a week of the year. It's basically it's either it falls on July 4th.
Okay.
So I've been down there so many times. And the reason why I even thought of this, because we were talking about Dillinger. And a lot of people don't know this, but if Al Capone wasn't in Chicago, he was in fucking French Lake.
Really? In the one with the atrium? Was that the one? Is that
West Baden?
That's West Baden. Okay.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of like the difference between Lawrence and I don't know, the East Side, whatever. They're right there. They're within 5 minutes. But
right. They're really close. So the one with the atrium, I remember this was in high school, and I was playing guitar back then. And we went. The church group had some kind of thing, and we went and stayed at. And the atrium, it was all fixed. It wasn't fixed up or developed or anything. It was all pretty much run down and everything. And we went there, and I remember being in that atrium. It was completely empty and just nothing there. And I'd sit in the very center of that, and the acoustics in there are incredible. And I just was playing my guitar, and it would fill the whole thing just without any amp or anything. I remember I thought it sounded so incredible, and I just sat there the whole, all spent my time in the center of that.
I'll tell you right now, Tom. Like now, you know where my head's at? I'm like, bucket list. You literally I want to play. I want to play in French Lake. I want to play a show in French Lake. That would be so fucking cool.
They all the casinos hire tons of bands.
And
there's a bunch of different. When we went to this bar that was cool, they had a gal and a guitar player who was fantastic, doing just a little loungy thing. And this guitar player was I was like, Where did he come from? He was like Nashville good.
Oops.
Loungy.
It was loungy. That was a gig with Art Adams. We did. So
Oh,
yeah.
nice. Yeah.
Sweet.
Like
Yeah, I love it
Coconut
down there.
Grove.
What?
You
Oh, the
heard
famous
me.
Coconut Grove. There you go.
Lounge.
Semi
Yeah,
not
whatever
really
happened
famous.
to that? That was
It ran its course.
Yeah.
It was pretty popular.
Jeanette, do you ever go to that? I
I
forget.
think I did a couple times.
Really? Okay. Tom, did you came out for that?
Yeah, definitely. It was
Okay.
swanky. It was swanky.
Yeah.
I
It
never
was
dressed
popular.
enough for it.
People were digging it.
I didn't expect everybody
Sorry.
to dress up. It was a very casual thing, but and I always wore my tux.
Well, I know. That's what I
Usually.
mean. I felt
So-
underdressed if I ever went.
It was it was cool for a while. I just couldn't get bands to come out. It was really hard to find. It was a very niche thing. To find a kind of a laid back jazzy band thing. And
It'd be easier now.
Sean Baker really helped me initially. He had a band called the Four Sexes that played at it's a cigar bar down on the Circle.
Okay, and I think I know where you're talking about.
Yeah.
Down on like Pennsylvania or something, whatever.
What's
it
it
was.
right on the Circle?
Oh, right on the Circle.
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
Wow.
I don't know if it's there anymore or not, but
He's so talented.
yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah. But I try to get him and Mike at Leisure Kings to play a little more often than they did. But
Fantastic.
Mike had just had a kid, so Sundays were like, he wanted to be with his little baby and stuff. So it was
Right.
maybe once or twice a year I got the Leisure Kings, and it was a once a month every first Sunday thing. And but and I take my I had my laptop. That was the first thing, and I just play some old music, crooner stuff or big band, obscure, odd, loungy stuff like that too. And it was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I usually had one band, but towards the end of things, we just ran out of bands. And my friend Kara took it over for a minute too, and she had the same trouble. But it was fun.
It was a nice.
Phil, have you ever done music?
No. Well, back in high school, up till high school, I played trombone. If I continued, I would want to be in a ska band or
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
or jazz, jazz band down at the Chatterbox. or
Why
something
not
like
get
that.
the trombone out?
Oh God, I'd be so rusty. I'd have to learn.
That's how I feel about the piano.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm on that level
Oh, all right.
where, it's kind of like,
I always thought drums would be a thing too, but I never, I just never took the leap to get a kit or anything. But and then life got in the way and all that. But and other interests were there, so I couldn't afford, good instruments or anything. But yeah.
So we're in our third hour, right?
Whoa.
And typically
How'd that happen?
we do two things in the third hour. So either we whip out the box or we talk about the box, or we
I'm getting scared.
yeah. Oh, believe me, it does get a little scary when we whip out the box. Speaking of scary, we lost Jeanette. We'll go ahead and when she comes back, we'll get her. Oh, look at that fucking camera angle. There we go. We'll switch to that. So, speaking of French Lake, West Baden. So the first time I went down there, I was 16, and I went to the main hotel. What is it? Springs? I can't remember what the fuck it's called, but there's a bowling alley in this hotel, and I'm going through this motherfucker trying to find this bowling alley, and I get this sense of something is not right. Like I could feel this energy in this building, and sure enough, I was right. That fucker is haunted. Straight up haunted.
Which one is this? This is the.
It's the French Lake Hotel, the bigger one, not the one with the cool ceiling. That's West Baden.
Not with the atrium. Okay.
Yeah, the atrium. Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, Ghostbusters. So let's we're gonna lose some viewers here because this is not everybody's favorite subject, but this show is based on 4 subjects: drugs, sex, rock and roll,
and
the paranormal.
Nice.
So
Oh, I got a paranormal story. But go ahead. There
that's
we go.
yeah, baby. Let's hear it.
Do it.
What, right now?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
by
So,
all means.
you heard of Story, Indiana?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so Story, Indiana has the Story Inn, and then if you go to these Ghostbuster shows and everything like that,
Yeah.
and what they did a show on, it's called the Blue Lady Room or something that's in the Story Inn, and they're in there doing their ghost thing, and they they're doing their EMPs and EVPs and stuff, and one of them is whatever the electromagnetic EMPs, the electromagnetic fields or EMFs, and they have a meter. And the idea is this meter starts going off. There's an electromagnetic field that's been detected, and that means there's an actual physical presence of a ghost in here. That's proof. Proof. You know, you got your voice phenomena thing you're doing in there. So they did the whole thing, and when you're watching it, they got the bed there, and they're off to the side of the bed, and they got the the electromagnetic field thing, and it's going, this is going nuts. Oh my gosh, look at this. Wow, we're getting all these readings. Oh, this is amazing and everything. So I was going out with a gal, Stacy, who was really into that stuff, and we're going to go stay at this room because it's all the haunted room. So we go and we rent the room, the haunted room, and we get there and we go in the room. And well, the room's above and they have, and by the way, I recommend going there and staying there. It was an amazing experience. The food was like over the top. It's a really good restaurant.
Hell yeah.
There. I mean, it is like world-class restaurant. It was amazing food, the vibe, all around there. Wonderful place. Everything's great. So we're there. The room's above the kitchen, and it's a huge kitchen, and there's and you go out there, that's a little balcony out the back. Well, when you walk out the back, that's kind of disappointing because there's a big vent fan that's blowing all the kitchen air out of there. So you're kind of, but it's not, it's kitchen. If you work in a kitchen,
that's true. That's true.
It's more the industrial thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, so what's going on when the electromagnetic field is like refrigerators, compressors, fans? That's what's triggering that.
Right. Yeah.
It had nothing to do with ghosts. It's like you're above the kitchen, and to the point where you can actually hear the stuff. When we first got in the room, you could hear the kitchen in the back, and I was like, yeah. So that was kind of my debunking of the paranormal.
Everybody knows that it's not EMF. It's neutrona waves. It's not, it's interdimensional stuff. It's EMF, whatever.
And an interdimensional meter is so expensive. Who can afford one of those?
Well, working on it, but
that's only NASA.
Yeah. What do they call it in Ghostbusters? The
PKE meter.
PKE.
Yeah. Psychokinetic energy meter.
Yeah. So have you ever seen any UFOs? Maybe Bigfoot, man, bear, pig, anything?
No. I'm trying to think of
cryptids. What's that? The dog? What's the one?
Chupacabra.
Yeah. You ever anything unexplainable?
No. Well, I did have this. I worked in when I was again just out of. So I moved out of house when I was like 18. Kind of went off on my own and got unemployed, and then I got a job at this. It was an occult bookstore in Broad Ripple, and so what they were really into doing horoscopes and all that stuff. And I was like, I sort of poo-pooed that whole thing. And I would not tell them my birthday and everything. And after talking for a long time with them, they kind of got out of that I was an Aries, but I would not tell them when my birthday was or anything. And they kept talking about this famous psychic that's coming in from New York, and she's really powerful and all this. And I'm like, and I was fascinated by it. I buy books on astral projection. I mean, I kind of believed in sort of, and still do. There's there's all things out there that don't explain. And, I'd like really into that. I'm not negative on that at all, but the whole thing, the horoscope thing, I just didn't think you can I just didn't give him my birthday. I don't necessarily believe in all that stuff. But so the psychic comes in town, and when she comes in, she grabs my hand and then kind of is rubbing my hand while she's doing. He goes, "Oh, he is such an Aries. Oh my gosh!" And I'm like, "Well, they told him I was an Aries because they've got that on me." She goes, "Oh, you're such an Aries." And then all of a sudden she goes, "Oh my God, you're not an April Fool, are you?" And I was like, "Wow!" So my birthday's March 31st. So I was like, "Wow, that was pretty amazing." So she went and pretty much nailed like shockingly, like had something like almost nailed my birthday.
That's awesome.
That's unexplainable and pretty like, wow.
She had a 1 in 30
badass.
chance though, so I'm sorry, but I don't know. Sorry.
That's true. That's true.
I'm a bit skeptical about some of that stuff, but
I'm definitely a skeptic, but that kind of happened, and that was like, wow.
You have to be a skeptic.
Oh God, yeah.
Especially in 2023 with YouTube and TikTok and all the shit. All the shit. What about you, Phil? You ever experienced anything?
Okay, there's one thing that
unexplainable.
There's one thing that I cannot put my finger on at all. I was driving home from work one day, and I was working at Toys R Us, and out East Washington Street. Worked there for 2 years. That'll kill Christmas for you.
Hell yeah.
I want my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figure.
I literally, the first thing that came to my head was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
Yeah, because it was like 89 to 90. Oh, yeah. And that was that. And what else? It was like, I think Cabbage Patch Kids was still a big thing too, and G.I. Joes and okay, whatever.
Ghostbusters.
A little bit. I don't remember. To be honest, I don't remember us having Ghostbuster toys there. There might have been some real Ghostbusters.
Oh yeah.
Stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm driving home, and all of a sudden I find myself like just, I don't know, thinking about my grandfather. It was my best friend growing up when I was a kid. He died when I was 7, and big time, just overwhelming, like whoa. And all of a sudden I'm just like, I'm driving to Broad Ripple, just out of the fucking blue, and I pull into a neighborhood. It's off Carville Avenue, and just south of was that Kessler, and I pull over, and I'm like, this feels really familiar. And then I told my mom about it. She says, you drove to Carville Avenue. Okay. Well, she said that was where our old house was. That was our favorite house when she grew up. We were up there.
Wow.
Yeah. But
awesome.
It could be that I was overly emotional or whatever.
That's a pretty interesting coincidence.
Yeah.
That's hard to.
And I might have heard her say Carville Avenue before. I don't know, but so it's a little.
Hell yeah.
It's a little sketchy in my mind, but whatever. That's about the closest thing I ever had. Yeah, we used to go cemetery hopping too when I was a kid too, just after high school, and with my gaming group friends. And we went to it was a cemetery right across from Toys R Us, because I think I got off of work and I joined them, and we wandered in, and then they all got spooked by something, and I'm like, what the?
We're talking like between German Church and Mithofer off Washington Street. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a big cemetery right there.
Yeah.
And we were walking in there. It was like pitch black, no moon out or something like that. And we're walking out, or we're getting ready to go, and some friends are ahead of me, and they just could start running back, and then like they got super spooked out by something. I'm like, what? I didn't feel anything.
You ever been to Paul Ruster?
I don't know what's up.
Paul Ruster Park. It's off of it's off of oh shit, cannot remember. But so you take German Church, right?
Yeah.
South of Washington, and then Rawls. There it is. It's at German Church in Rawls. There's a Paul Ruster Park.
I've been to a park there in that area. Yeah, probably.
It's got the biggest hill of it in Indiana. It's at least 25 feet tall.
Nice.
Yeah, it's like the only place to go sledding, and literally within 40 miles of here. But there's an actual cemetery right there off the corner, right before you get to the park.
Okay,
and it's, I think, the youngest grave. I don't think that's probably the right term to use there, but it's like
youngest baby.
Well, the most recent burial there was in like 1850. Oh, most of the graves are from like the 18th century. So,
Nice.
but I've done some ghost hunting out there. It's pretty wild.
Okay.
But I don't suggest it, by the way. I went out.
Did it scare you?
I've been on some pretty interesting ghost hunts.
I've
seen some
I
pretty
get
fucked up
scared
shit.
pretty easy. I don't even like watching scary movies.
Oh, I love watching scary movies. I have this strange addiction to like if I can't sleep, God,
Scare yourself.
Dude, I follow all the fucked up shit on like Instagram and TikTok. I love watching that shit. Like the videos that people upload of just hauntings or poltergeist or whatever. And I don't know the UFO ones, whatever. But it's really cool. Like some of these videos out there are fucking intense. So not like literally not like fucking in a tent, but they're fucking intense. So, but I don't know. I've seen some crazy shit. So when I was a kid, I had seen like I can't remember the word for it, but it's like a black thing. Like it looks like a person, but it's black.
Oh,
shadow people.
Yeah, I've seen shadow people.
Ding,
and
jinx.
I chalked that up as like I was a kid, whatever. But fuck, man, I've fortunately also experienced shit as an adult. So I've disembodied voices where literally like there's somebody talking and nobody's there, shit like that. So, but yeah, it's a rather interesting thing, and I always chalk it up right here, and this is why it's important to be skeptical, and I am very skeptical. But at the same time, I would assume at some point I'm going to have the right people in this room, where everybody sitting down in this room is going to be very much open to the idea of the possibility of spirits beyond the realm in which we are in, which I mean, scientifically speaking, we could go on a many range of ideas and possibilities, but yeah, it's definitely a thing to me. That's why I bring it into the show, because a lot of people look at it in a very religious way, which, by the way, my favorite horror films are definitely of the occult. Like The Exorcist. Exorcism movies are like my shit. I love that stuff so much. But I've seen some crazy shit. I one time beyond like the whole paranormal idea, I have seen a UFO. I have seen one in my life, and I was completely sober. I was 16, and I was hanging out with my buddy, and totally saw some crazy shit happen. But I always like to get into it. We always lose viewers over it because nobody ever wants to venture into that. You know what I mean? But
you'd think they would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Tom, you're not big into horror film?
No, I'm a real lightweight, and as a kid, I had these nightmares about a certain horror film for a long time.
Jaws?
And it wasn't until
Jaws?
No.
Dude, I've seen the movie Grease too, and it freaks me out
No,
every time.
yeah, there you go. No, it was for a long time, and then when I figured out what it was a Dean Martin, Jerry Lewis movie. I'm dead serious.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, it was somewhere there. It's got zombies in it, and they go to some kind of castle.
Wow.
And there were certain scenes in there that I still remember and I would have nightmares about it. Scene where what I remembered in my mind, and I would have nightmares about, was this
Scared Stiff, 1953.
That's it. That's one. And there's
I knew that. I didn't Google it. I swear.
They open up some kind of glass in my mind. What I remember is they open up some kind of glass coffin, and it's got somebody's head that was decapitated, and then it opens and starts talking. But in the movie, they find this guy in this glass coffin that had been murdered, that they'd been looking for or something. But I like that so that's what a pussy I am.
Well, I'll tell you
Dean Martin,
what,
Jerry
Tom.
Lewis was the scariest
Dino.
movie. I was scared. Oh my God.
That was
That's
awesome.
a zombie.
Right. Hey, little buddy. Don't worry about it.
Did you say Halo, buddy?
Hey, little buddy. I don't know. I forget what Dino said, but
We were talking about Halo before the show.
Oh, Halo.
Yeah, we got the Halo helmet chilling. So I have the perfect movie for you. It's a horror film, but it's not too much. But I honestly consider it the best horror film of all time because it is for everybody. If you have not seen it, it's circa 2002. It's called The Ring.
Oh,
Yeah, I've heard of The Ring.
Yeah.
Love it.
I've heard of The Ring.
Love it.
Okay.
Fantastic film. I can't remember who's all in it. Like, help me out, Jeanette. What's her name?
Oh,
Like,
yeah, she's an Australian chick. She's Naomi or something.
Naomi Watts. Yeah.
Yeah.
So check that movie out.
Okay.
It's not too much, but it's just enough.
Well, I got pushed into watching. I can't remember. It was like a remake of a Japanese horror movie, and in this, I think like shadow things kind of appeared, like specters, and it was like a famous one. And I watched the American version, and it was really scary. And that night, I went in the middle of the night after I came out of the bathroom, I opened the door and it's pitch black. And to me, that was from the movie. It's like, I was like, I'm not watching horror movies anymore.
Oh man,
It's
My
fun.
heart was racing at
I'm
3 or 4
gonna get
in
it
the
for you.
morning.
It's called The Grudge.
That's right.
Yeah,
I was
The
trying to
Grudge.
remember.
Grudge or whatever.
That
Because
was
The
pretty
Ring was
scary.
Japanese too. That's what threw me off.
Mm-hmm.
The Grudge, yeah, that was good too.
That scared me, and then scared me in the middle of the night. And I'm like, I'm done with this. I can't handle it.
I prefer like aliens and stuff like that.
Yeah, those I'll
like,
watch.
yeah.
Those are kind of scary, and then monster movies with that.
I'll tell you
all right
what.
with that.
I'll tell you what, man.
Yeah.
I the first time I watched The Fourth Kind, I was fucked. I was like, this is fucking insane. You
Never
seen
heard
that?
of
The
that.
Fourth
I
Kind?
think so.
Never even
It
heard of
has
that.
excuse my inability to pronounce her name, but Mila, old girl from Fifth Element.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. I know who you're talking about. I can't
Mila.
pronounce her name.
Oh, Mila.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you not
Yes,
watch
come
this
on,
movie,
Obi.
Tom? You will not sleep for days.
Well, I'm not gonna watch it.
That shit,
It's that
that shit
simple.
was like fucking legit, like fucking crazy. And it's all
Nice.
about aliens or UFOs coming in and anal probes and whatever. Not really anal probes, but what's that? What'd you say earlier?
Cartman.
Butt plug fever.
Blood fever.
But for sure, you should watch The Ring with Naomi Watts. It's like circa 2002, 2003, somewhere in that range. It's like literally, to me, it has just it's for everybody. You know, it really it's just a good horror film. It's well directed, just everything about it. I love it. So actually, I got a copy of it. You got a VHS player?
I do, but I probably wouldn't. It's just
You
it's
wouldn't
in
do
my
it?
little bar.
I
It sits
totally
in my
have
little
it.
bar. I'd have to be sitting in my bar.
It's literally like right there.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I have one, but it's not been hooked up since I moved out of Fountain Square. So
I'm a fool. I've got
Yeah.
like 3 VHS players. I've got a TV with a VHS player in it. I think actually I have 2 of them. So I'm that guy. Yeah.
nice.
Oh, I
Please.
have ridiculous amount. I have closets filled with movies. I got obsessed with movies.
Me
And
too.
I'm like more like
Hmm.
older. I know all these the old gangster movies.
Like
and all that.
Biodome.
No, like
It's a bad joke. I'm sorry.
no, like
Holy shit.
Humphrey Bogart and,
Yeah.
and all
Oh,
that
yeah.
shit.
James
West-
Cagney.
you like
love it.
Westerns?
James Cagney, Humphrey Bogart, huh?
You like Westerns?
I have, you know what? Yeah, there's some great Westerns. But I'm not as big a fan. I like the old gangster movies and then some. I have a wide, and then,
Goes to Mr. Chicken.
oh yeah, I have that. I
Nice,
have that.
nice.
Is that more your speed, Tom?
Probably.
Who was in that? In the
Don
Ghostbusters?
Knotts.
Don Knotts.
Oh,
Those
okay,
Don
okay.
Knotts movies are great.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
I love those
Yeah.
stupid movies like that. And I like the old comedies like that. There's
Yeah.
great ones like one of my. Have you ever seen After the Fox? Or have you seen the original producers with Zero Mostel and
Yeah.
Gene
Yes.
Wilder?
Yeah, for sure.
That is a masterpiece. And the original Odd Couple. The
Yeah,
movie
that's
The Odd
great.
Couple. Those are like Neil Simon,
Walter
and every
Matthau.
single line in the movie is perfect. I can
It's
watch those
great,
again, and
yeah.
it absolutely engages you.
So,
And let's see, there's another one. Let's see,
Oh,
the
the-
Russians are coming with. Who's the guy that produced Dick Van Dyke? What was
Oh,
his name?
yeah.
That's a great movie.
yeah, I
I
remember
love
now.
that. And I like
The
those old
The
50s
Thin Man.
comedies.
The Thin Man.
Yeah.
movies.
Yes,
right. The Thin Man
William
movies are great.
Powell.
and he boozes it up. I love him. It's the middle of the night, and they wake him up, and he goes, "Well, hang on a second," and he pours a drink, and there's a bar at the foot of his bed.
Hell yeah!
He's like, I got the bar right here.
Nick and Nora Charles.
Always,
yeah,
constantly.
Do you have a favorite gangster movie?
Yeah.
There's a couple. There's well, let's see, one with the dead end kids. It's called what is it? Angels with Dirty Faces. That's one of my favorites.
Okay.
And then there's another one that and Danny Thompson knows about this one too. There's one with Edward G. Robinson, and he plays this gangster, and they're trying to break into this bank, and in the process he ends up becoming a hero of the whole community, and so it's really funny. It's kind of like comedy. I like gangsters. They have some of the gangster movies. Let's see. There's another one where they're taking care of this little girl, and there's this scene in it that's spectacular where it's like it's this gangster trying to tell this girl the fairy tale, and he's talking about Little Red Riding Hood. Yeah, so Little Red Riding Hood's in the forest, see, and and this guy, he decides to take it on the lam here. And he's using all these gangster phrases for Little Red Riding Hood. So Little Red Riding Hood comes into that, sees the little thing. She says, "Hey, Grandma,
Grand larceny," says Danny.
Grand larceny, yeah, it is grand larceny. That's it. Yes, fantastic movie,
Thank you, Danny.
Yeah,
Wow.
Hell yeah,
worth seeing.
Cool.
What about you, Phil? You got a favorite gangster
movies? I don't know. Not usually my usual thing, but maybe well, I mean, shit, the Godfather movies can't be beat.
Oh no, those are fantastic. Yeah.
Especially the third one.
3. I kind of like the first one.
The first one's a classic. That's
yeah. First one is
awesome.
Yeah.
I
remember the first time I watched The Godfather, and it ended, and I was like, "What?" Like, no, like I immediately had to watch the second one. Had to watch it. Yep. For me, what about you, Jeanette? What's your favorite gangster movie?
Goodfellas is probably
Goodfellas.
Yeah.
That's one of my top.
Yep.
Of all movies.
Am I a fucking clown to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, what's his name? Home Alone guy?
Joe Pesci.
Joe Pesci.
Yeah, he's so fucking
great.
good in that movie.
So great.
Good.
Oh my god.
That movie's fantastic.
See, for me, like 1989, Home Alone comes out. Macaulay Culkin. What's his name? Stern. Not obviously not Howard Stern, but whatever. I love that movie.
Right.
Greatest movie director, writer of all time, fucking John Hughes, man. Like
he's
to
awesome.
me, like he is the number one.
He do?
He's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that wild?
Yeah.
Okay.
The same guy that brought you 16 Candles and Breakfast Club.
Say anything. And,
he also did Harry and the Hendersons. The Great Outdoors.
That's right.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. And I think the most underrated John Hughes film of all time. By the way, I just found my copy of it on DVD. It's the best Thanksgiving movie ever fucking made. It is Dutch with Ed O'Neill. If you have not seen the movie Dutch, it is remarkably good. It is so fucking good. Go out, find Dutch. It's a fantastic film. But my favorite like gangsta movie of all time. Maybe I'm showing my age because I'm 40, but dude,
youngin'
cannot be touched, and that is a pun. I love the movie Untouchables. With Kevin Costner. What's his name?
Sean
Connery, and and Al Capone, played by Robert De Niro.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Fabulous.
There's a scene in that movie. The first time I watched it, I was like shook. Where basically Kevin Costner and his gang of police go in and bust one of his illegal alcohol underground things. Speakeasy. And the next scene after they bust it, and news people are there and they're taking photos and blah blah blah. And it cuts to the scene, and it's Al Capone or Robert De Niro, and he's walking around this table with all of his kingpins or whatever that work for him, and these lines right here, like, I want him dead, I want his family dead, I want his house burnt down, like fucking just, oh, so fucking good, man.
Mm-hmm.
And if you haven't seen it, go watch The Untouchables. But
I've seen it. Yeah,
Okay.
I think I have it. I have it.
Fantastic movie.
Okay.
But if you read into it, you're gonna find out that it took hell and high water to get De Niro to do that fucking film.
Really?
They literally, like Kevin Costner was like, well, I guess I'm gonna have to take a pay cut just to get De Niro in on this film. But that is my all-time. Actually, that's what I would call a comfort film for me. I will put that on when I want to see a movie that I love. But also, like, I don't really have to pay attention to. I can watch creepy ghost videos on TikTok.
Because you got it all memorized, right?
Yeah.
What do you like, the Guy Ritchie movies? The like Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels?
Oh, hell yeah.
Snatch? I love those. Those
are
are great.
Snatch,
Those are
dude.
great.
Oh, my God.
And the plot twists in them are so.
Yes.
I love that. The complexity of it.
Great
Lock,
films.
Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. It's just brilliant the way it works out at the very end. It's like, so near as I can remember, you know. We're completely off free. And all these people have been murdered and dead and all this millions of dollars, and then they're throwing the guns away. I love that. That's a great movie.
Yeah, I'm a big film buff, just like you, Tom. Like, I would assume that you are too, right, Phil?
Yes, I have not seen as many movies as a lot of people though. So I thought I was for a long time. And I'm like, no. I tend to rewatch kind of the same stuff, movie wise anyway.
Yeah. See, but, I'm very repetitive too. Like there are films that I have to watch at least once a year. What's that? Damn. I hate when I do this. Matthew McConaughey. It's about him.
Interstellar. Oh, yeah. That's pretty trippy.
Love that one. Dark Knight is another film.
High.
Dark Knight, I have to watch at least once a year.
Okay.
I think that's probably one of the best directed films of at least in the last 20 years.
All right. Yeah, Nolan's good. I like war movies.
Oh, no shit. Did you see 1917?
Oh yeah.
Phenomenal.
What's better than that in World War I genre is Peter Jackson's thing. He what is it called? Crap. He takes actual World War I footage and he remasters it and makes it not look like,
garbage,
cartoony, fast moving stuff. Colorizes it and he's telling real soldier stories.
I'm gonna check this out, man.
Cool.
Let me know what that is. That's
wow.
It's really we went to go see that when it was in the theater, and it had a short run. I thought it was I think it was around the pandemic or right before it or something like that. But I like gritty stuff like Saving Private Ryan and
that right there.
Yeah,
dude.
that's a powerful movie. I like the old. I like the Battle of the Bulge and stuff like that. I watched those a few times. I think they really do a good job.
Cross of Iron's another favorite.
Oh, Tora. My dad took me to see that when I was a kid, and I still and it's kind of very historic, or I'd like to think it is. That's like.
Yeah, totally. And it's all all those planes are real. They're blowing
and the
up.
Scenes they film around that. And I guess Battle of the Bulge, that was the biggest collection of the actual tanks they had to bring. And
they use post-war tanks for a lot of it. They used
but they had all these tanks.
They did have real Shermans and stuff, but the German tanks were all patent
why did I know you'd know
50s
that?
and 60s? Right. Well, I'm sorry. We're gonna get I can.
Well, the ball bearings in those wheels on there were not accurate.
Yeah, they weren't. Metric.
Look closely at the tread when this Tiger tank comes by. Now, tell me that's not American made.
Kelly's Heroes was the first
Oh,
one.
that I like
They
that.
did did up tanks to make them look like tiger tanks. And it was the first time they did this, something like that, and it was
Oh, really?
they were
Okay.
fairly accurate for the time.
Actually, I like
Yeah.
that movie. It's got this dated
it's great.
70s thing
It's
with. I
great.
mean, if I wish Donald Sutherland didn't play such a hippie character, that kind of makes it a little like throws it off.
It's cartoony.
But it is. It's the whole
great,
the
though.
brilliant thing of getting it all together and
Yeah.
to get the gold, and that's I
who was
love it.
who? Clint Eastwood was the main guy.
Yeah.
Who was the Don
Telly
Rickles?
Savalas,
Telly
isn't it?
Savalas,
Yeah,
Don
and
Rickles.
Don Rickles.
Don Rickles.
It was
Yeah.
what a great cast.
Oh yeah. It was wonderful.
Wow.
Sorry, guys.
No, you're good.
No, it's okay.
I kind of want to do something that's gonna fuck everybody up. And I do this to people every once in a while. I don't think I've ever done this on a podcast, though, to be honest with you.
Do it.
Let me pull this up here.
You haven't had
Okay.
the box yet either.
You ready? Oh yeah, we'll get into that in 1 second. But this is gonna fuck you up. This fucks everybody
Fuck me
up.
up. Come on.
Y'all ready for this?
I don't know.
John Hughes. Ready?
Okay.
All right. So before I get into this,
He just Googled this. I know.
no, dude, there's no way that I could possibly remember this list because it's fucking crazy. And I assure you, you're gonna be like, this is not real life. But in 1981, John Lennon died.
Okay.
And he had a moment of silence nationally. Like across the country, they had a moment of silence for him. And when John Hughes died, I could not believe that this country did not take a moment and have that for him, because he changed film in such a way. Adam Sandler, Judd Apatow, whatever. All these writers and directors like literally live and die by this man. And I'm just going to go ahead and say it. National Lampoon's Class Reunion was his first film. Mr. Mom, National Lampoon's Vacation, 16 Candles, Breakfast Club, Weird Science, Pretty in Pink, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, The Great Outdoors, Uncle Buck, Christmas Vacation.
Well,
Probably the greatest Christmas film ever fucking made.
Except with Die Hard.
Home Alone, Only the Lonely with John Candy, Dutch, Curly Sue, Beethoven, Dennis the Menace, Baby's Day Out, Miracle on 34th Street, Jack, 101 Dalmatians, Flubber, obviously Home Alone 2, Home Alone 3, and Drill Bit Taylor
Flubber
is where it closed out. But that is only his films. He also did television too.
Wow.
Yeah,
But I mean, this guy literally culturally.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Yep.
But that's only the films that he directed. That does not include the films that he wrote. But anyways,
16 Candles.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's actually, let's do it. It's actually, so I put that there because that is probably my favorite melody and show flyer of all fucking time.
Oh, is it okay? I didn't know that was a show flyer. Who was on?
Oh, yeah.
Who's
That
on the
is,
bill?
Rob and Dave's 16th anniversary show.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
okay.
was funny.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, I don't know.
2015, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm a big. So who was on that? Let's see. America Owns the Moon, Ricky Rat Pack, The Smiths
America
Tribute,
Owns
Elliot
the
Bigger, and DJ Dewey Ramon. I had to do the era.
America Owns the Moon. That was a good band.
Oh
Yes.
Mhm.
Very good.
I liked them a lot. I remember a packed show at the Alley Cat of all places. Saw them up there.
I have never
Oh,
been
that
to
was-
the Alley Cat.
Oh,
Never been to the Alley Cat?
Wow.
Oh
Not
my
even
God.
once.
I haven't been in about 10 years or so.
Well, don't go there after 1 p.m.
Yeah.
Oh, the Alley Cat.
Yeah,
To be an old guy, the Alley Cat used to be the most eclectic bar that was around.
it was.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
And
Yep.
another thing, like, all right, so remember they had happy hours, and before they were illegal, Alley Cat used to boast the world's longest happy hour because it would start at 7 in the morning
Yeah.
to 7
That's
at
right.
night.
Yeah.
You know,
Wow.
That's
and
hilarious.
so
Breakfast and all that.
the mother of my daughter, Leah, she worked night shifts, and then I played in bands and everything. And one time she gives me a call, and she's like, Tommy, you got to come get me. I need a ride home. I can't drive. I'm in the Alley Cat. So I go to the Alley Cat at 9 a.m. and the place is like, it's like 3 a.m, packed bar with everybody just absolutely hammered drunk, because all these night shift people go to the Alley Cat and start drinking at 7 o'clock in the morning. And so at 9, so that was the vibe. So, and also the Alley Cat used to have these different sections. It's and you'd go in the Alley Cat and they called it doing a lap.
Yeah.
And you go in, originally you had the first section that was kind of the booze that was like for everybody. Then as you went to the back, you had the small pool table, then you had other pool table, and then you came around in that one. So it's all gutted out now, but there used to be a piano bar in there, and you'd have gals, people with gray hair in there singing Frank Sinatra songs. So you had like, punk rockers in the front in the booth. You had the hillbillies and truck drivers playing pool in the back. And then you had, people playing Frank Sinatra songs. You had your parents, in that one room. I mean, it was like all this different zone. It was just this wonderful
piano part.
Yeah, there was a
piano. Yeah, I never
saw
that either.
Well, there's a piano in there in that one
was
room.
Originally a piano bar.
That's so cool.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah, I downloaded some pictures of when back in the 30s of the Melody.
Oh, the Melody, right.
Yeah.
The stage was on the other side, and
That's
that
right.
cooler wasn't there. And there were girly pictures that were painted on that. If you go and you'll find some photos, there's kind of like little cheesecake looking photos that were on the bar, on the vinyl under the bar.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have those pictures. Oh, cool. Awesome.
Yeah, that's and that's been around since the 30s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Outside of just going in to drop off zines and whatnot, I've never actually hung out at the Alley Cat. Never been there.
Okay.
Never done the thing.
Well, that used to be also back in the day when pretty much it was like the Patio and the Vogue were the music bars and everything. And the Alley Cat would go in there, and if you knew the people when that was after 3, the doors are locked and you'd still get drinks. I think Connors was the same way. You kind of, if you knew the right people, you go and you hang out. They definitely lock the door, and actually that would happen you'd have to be more of an employee. That was my introduction, I think, to Broad Ripple. We played the Vogue, and that was at Blue Hue and the Color Tones, and doors were locked, and all of a sudden they're setting up poppers on there, and everybody's, and I didn't get out of there, I think, till 5 a.m.
Pre-drink at the Cat, and then go over to the Vogue or something. Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
Absolutely.
That was just standard operational procedure.
I've never been to Vogue either.
Yep.
Just kidding. I've shot plenty of shows there.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, Broad Ripple used to be pretty decent, but
my experience in Broad Ripple has never been very good.
Really?
The strip or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. Every time I've ever literally so I don't know. First of all, to be very clear, I go to venues, I don't go to bars. And anytime that I go to a bar, it's always, it's kind of like, all right, well, I guess we're gonna shoot some pool and listen to top 10 fucking radio hits and drink Bud Light or Miller Light or Coors Light or what the fuck ever domestic beer.
Yeah, I couldn't always do that.
If I go out to a bar, it's not a bar, it's a venue. I go to venues. So, but every time I've ever been to Broad Ripple, how people go to the strip and they bounce around from bar to bar, every fucking time, without a fucking doubt, every fucking time somebody is trying to start a fight with me.
Wow.
And if you know me, I'm not the kind of person that I don't look for fights. It's just for some reason, every time I've been there, which is a handful of times, honestly, maybe 3 or 4 times, some dude would just be like, pull, move, pull. And I'd be like, okay.
Did somebody cast a spell on that place?
I don't know. It's just because it didn't.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't the big drinking hole that it used to be. It actually kind of was. It was.
Yeah.
Or I mean, because I'm really old, but it basically was the Patio and the Vogue, and then you had the Alley Cat, and then there was a point where there were a lot of these clubs. There used to be the Avenue and Club 816 and the Bistro. There used to be 3 music clubs down there. It kind of exploded music wise, which was really neat. But now it's just all that's gone away.
The coolest experience I've ever had in Broad Ripple, there was a guitar store there. The first time I ever bought an acoustic guitar, I bought a 1968 Red Label Yamaha, whatever, I can't say it.
Was it on Broad Ripple Avenue near where the Starbucks is?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Scott Ballantyne's store.
I bought a red label.
Okay.
Correct me because I'm gonna say this wrong. Nachi, I can't say it, but
Gumi.
Something like that.
No.
Yeah. Beautiful fucking guitar. Oh, probably the best acoustic I've ever owned. It just sounded so good, played really well. And RIP, that thing got destroyed in 2004. Some drunk driver fucking didn't see the stop sign, apparently didn't see my car, and it was in my trunk. And just 60 miles per hour. I'm at 0. I'm sitting at a stop sign, just
wow, you're lucky you weren't in but that can
2.5, 3 years of fucking seeing a chiropractor.
Yeah.
Fucked me up nice and good. Yeah. I was out of work for a little bit. Fucked me up. But
those are bad.
Fuck the neck injury. That guitar. Ugh.
That's a shame.
Actually, you guys know Sid Shot?
Yeah.
They have almost the exact same guitar, and like every time I see it, I'm like, I want it. Like literally the exact same guitar. But yeah, I love that guitar. Do you have a favorite? Because we talked about your favorite. You were talking about that L5, that Gibson L5. Do you have a favorite acoustic? I know that's technically like halfway there.
Yeah, I don't. There's so many. I don't really have. I have a couple of acoustics. I have a Takamine with a cutaway that I like. But my favorite one, I have an Eastman. It's an arch top. And looks like it would be like a Gibson L7, and it's acoustic and it sounds really good. And it was actually a gift from my brother, and it's a great playing guitar, and that's my favorite acoustic. I play that a lot, and I had a pickup put in. Kevin Heffernan up at a Center Stage Vintage put a pickup in.
Love that place.
Yeah,
dude, I've been fortunate if I got to play there.
Yeah. He does. So he does the little. Those are podcasts.
Yeah. They do it. I think they do it once a month on a Saturday. Yeah. It was so cool, and it was my birthday too. So
Roundups did it, and point he did it. He had somebody with a drone and a camera come, so they're coming from way outside and they fly in through the open door.
That's cool.
Hell yeah! That's really neat. So he's a real supporter. He was the very early rock called the Rockaholics, a rockabilly band early in the Indianapolis scene. They were really good.
The name.
Yeah, Mike Strauss that plays bass with Art Adams was in that band too, and Kevin Heffernan and Danny Heffernan sang. Wow. And that was very famous.
Yeah. So Center Stage Vintage Guitars. It's in Noblesville, Indiana. If you have not played there, they accept all genres of music. Just go in there.
Yep.
Don't go in there with money because you'll be fucked.
He's got the real thing.
He's got the real thing. Yeah.
And he isn't the one destroying. It's reverb.com. That's destroying pricing on guitar.
Oh, it's not about. The only reason I said that is because like if I had money and I walked in there, I would be fucked because they have such amazing instruments in there. But they got a list right there at the counter. Fucking get your date. They'll come on in and play a set. And what's really cool,
music. Yeah. He's doing some work on it too. He's fixed up the upstairs, I think.
Right on.
I haven't seen it yet.
And what's really neat is they'll let you play their vintage guitars during that set, and they do a live feed for it, and it's really dope. So be sure to check that out if you haven't done it. Do it.
Arthur's does that too, don't they?
Not a live streaming that I'm aware of.
Well, not streaming, but they don't people just go in there and just play guitar or whatever.
You can play there. Yeah, they have a lot of great instruments. Yeah. Arthur's has a lot. A rich history too. Arthur's been around a long time.
Yep.
Yep. And rock stars going. Well, Kevin and both those music stores, have a lot of A-list players are aware of him and go in and buy stuff from him.
Arthur's is my go-to to get strings and shit for a while when I was down on the south side.
Yeah, Amy's great.
But yeah, for sure, check that out. I can't really say much more about how fucking awesome that place is and how like cool as shit they are. I've shot photos there for bands too, so yeah, always a good experience over there. So yeah, all right. So here's the big one. What bands are you currently playing in, Thom?
Oh, really? You know what? I'm kind of not playing. I'm playing with Art Adams right now, and that's kind of about it right now. I've got some other things that are in the works.
Oh yeah.
And then I played. I did that show with Jethro, and I got a call from Hank Haggard and the Orange Possum Special and did that, and I did some little pickup stuff. But right now I'm not playing as much as I'm used to. So, and I'm kind of, and I'm all right with that, because after a while you can, want to take a break, I suppose.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I feel that.
absolutely.
Because it's not what, so you're talking about stories. It's like, people don't think it's what it is. Like, oh, you got to play in Kansas City. And I'm like, yeah, well, I got to see a stage. I ate in a nice restaurant, and I saw the back seat of a driver's side of a van for 9 hours.
Yeah.
That was Kansas City for me, and like, oh yeah, but you go out and play on weekends. Yeah. I get up at 5 a.m. Then we all pile into a van and we drive hours. And I get back at 9 o'clock on Sunday. And then I go back and do my job.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the job's less work than all that.
Right.
Waking up at 6 a.m. in a hotel and then climbing in a van and hoping you'll sleep.
That's the fucking road.
Road. So, that's but you do it, but then intermixed with that, you do it, you enjoy it, the whole, and that's part of it too. So you kind of enjoy that. It's kind of nice when it's over. When you're in the middle of it, sometimes you're like, please let me get some sleep. I'm going to feel sick if I don't.
Yeah. I was literally just having a conversation about sleeping in a car. Like, some people can, some people can't,
I think it's you kind of don't realize you sleep. You're sort of thinking, I haven't slept at all. And then you realize, oh, look at the time. Yeah, well, I had to have.
Yep.
Or you think back and you go, wait a minute, that was a dream. I was somewhere else. You don't sleep very well in a car.
Yeah. I mean, I can for sure.
Oh,
as long as I can lay down a little bit,
all right,
or stretch out a little bit, I can totally sleep in a car. But when I was a kid, whenever we went on vacation, no fucking airplanes. And I mean, I've been to upstate New York, I've been to DC, I've been down to Florida, whatever. Like, mostly the East Coast, this side of the United States, I've been to most of these states, and we're always driving for whatever fucking reason. But I learned how to sleep in a car, maybe a little too well.
That's good.
Yeah,
Done that a bunch too. Yep.
There's absolutely nothing worse than driving while you're sleepy. Ugh.
Yeah, that's really dangerous. That's dangerous. I remember driving up, and I'd come into Indianapolis, and I come up 37. I'd go through Bloomington. All this, I'm coming up 37. You get on 465, and you need to. For me, I need to get on, turn right and get on 65 to get up to my neighborhood. And what I did, I'm just sort of in this zone, and all of a sudden I look and I'm passing Lebanon, and I had instinctively just got on and
Lebanon,
turned the wrong way. And Lebanon. But whatever it was, I'd bypass the whole city, and I'm heading up towards Chicago. I mean, I was just in some kind of weird zone, because that was not a good feeling. That was kind of scary. But I was safe and everything, and it was heavy traffic too.
Oh yeah.
So you're like, it's not a good time to be driving.
I'll be this year, first time ever, I'm going to Riot Fest in Chicago, and I'm already thinking about the drive there. Like, fuck me, man. I fucking hate Chicago.
You don't think about it, you just do it.
Yeah.
Once you reach the region.
Hopefully I'm not the one driving, but we'll see. Brandon Yates and I are going up there for Riot Fest. So I've never done it before. So this is the year I'm finally fucking doing it.
Awesome.
But
that'll be good.
So our Adams, do you guys have anything booked?
Actually, no. We did this last. It was the Little Flower show yesterday, and then some gal wants to book us for some kind of 50s themed thing up a little north of Noblesville, and I lost the name.
North of Noblesville?
Yeah, what she called it. I thought it was Atlanta, Indiana.
Yeah,
but
is
there an Atlanta, Indiana?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's where it is.
Yeah.
And
I was gonna say lapel.
Well, what they talk about is there's some kind of train that gets some kind of vintage train that goes out of Noblesville up to Atlanta, and they do this little train, and they do a theme thing, and they want us to be there when you get there at the end for some kind of sock hop sort of thing. I don't know. I don't think of sock hop with a 91-year-old rockabilly guy, but Art's that's what we do.
Hell yeah,
Art's still hanging on.
He's from the period though, so
he's the real thing.
That's pretty fucking cool. I'd say.
It's an honor to play with him. Yep.
It's like World War I, World War II.
He was in it. He's a Korean War veteran.
No shit.
Yeah, and
Yes,
he
yeah,
talks
yes.
about that too. And he got out. He didn't get wounded, but he talks about. I guess it was 50. We were just talking about it. Last night he was talking about it was 50 below zero, but super cold. Well, there's the expert over there on all this stuff, but
I'm not
Korean
a
War
Korean
was a
expert,
real.
but
Well, the Korean
I
was
know about it.
horrific. I saw some kind of special, and it was like so cold there. These people had these
Yeah.
horrific wounds. So we crossed the parallel, and we crossed this line we'd sort of decided to do, and then the China kind of invaded with waves of people,
Yep.
and fought us back. And that's what the MASH units that they make a joke about were invented then, because we couldn't retreat fast enough, and they had to do surgical procedures on all the casualties that we were having. And it's horrific. War is horrific.
Yeah.
Funny about it. And they talked about it was so cold, it was 50 degrees. Guys would have these huge open wounds, and they survived because they froze. It literally froze them, and that's what saved their life. Was because it was it was so cold, it would like instantly freeze. And it was just like,
yes, yeah, absolutely. Vietnam, where the guys were in the hot ass jungle and monsoon and stuff like that. That's way up north. Yeah, that's north of Japan.
That's what he made a point of saying. It was so cold. He said, I look like a big old Eskimo. And he said, and people, you get frostbite really quickly. And I don't know why I digressed over there, but that was that was the service he was involved in. So.
I think whenever I think about somebody playing, that late in their life, always takes me to Dick Dale,
Yeah, he kept going
all the way to the bitter end. Yeah.
Well, he had some kind of medical condition that he needed money for. So in a way, I'm sure he loved it. And it was wonderful that he could do that and share that gift with that. And he loved that. But also, it's kind of tragic to me that he had to take the money he got, and he doesn't get to enjoy it. He has to pay for medical expenses. I'm not even sure what all the details were.
Yeah.
That was my understanding.
I was fortunate enough to get to see him a couple times at the mill. So
those were amazing shows.
That's right.
It's really interesting. I'll be talking to somebody that's not in our music scene or kind of like outside of that bubble, and I'll be like, yeah, I got to see Dick Dale, and they're like, what? Dick Dale played in indie? I'm like, yeah, man, I got to see Dick Dale.
Melody and
so great.
Yeah.
They got some things. I'm excited that the Detroit Cobras coming in. I mean, my
Hell
gosh, are you kidding me?
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, they're going to play at the PRN.
Which band?
Detroit Cobras.
When is this?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know the date. I just they were talking about it, and I was like, shit.
Don't look at me. I'm just a photographer, man. So, man, I don't know. We do have some really big shows coming up, though. We got all kinds of crazy shit coming. So, but I cannot keep track. I already have a schedule that I have to keep track of here. So, speaking of Wednesday, we've got Julian Edinger coming on the show.
Woohoo!
And she's bringing her friend Meg. And then, I have not announced this online, but I am excited to say that Dirty Doug is going to be here as well. Douglas.
All right.
Slurs, Gitmos.
Yeah.
So I'm already preparing myself for Julie and Dirt to be in the room at the same time.
Have Dirt
that's gonna be fire.
Have Dirt tell the story where they went to the Melody and just walked on stage and started playing, not scheduled at all.
Yeah,
they just walked in, and I'm going to shut up. It's a wonderful story.
Yeah,
nice.
It's going to be a wild show. It's going to be a wild show.
Very cool.
I'm already mentally preparing for it.
All right.
I'm gonna get my seatbelt on and just brace for the insanity that show's gonna be. It's gonna be so much fun. They're both super awesome people and crazy characters, and I'm really looking forward to it. So and then next Sunday we have Ricardo Hernandez. I'm pretty sure I met him. He used to work Karma, but he's in the Dylan Salazar project.
Okay.
I would expect that Dylan's going to be here next Sunday. I'm not saying that Dylan will be here, but I'm thinking that he's going to be here, and I'm pretty sure Leslie's going to be here as well. So, that's next Sunday.
All right.
So,
what's the guy's name? Ricardo
Hernandez.
Was he the guy you interviewed on Party Crashers with the beautiful hair?
That's right. Yeah. I went out. Fred and Stephanie had a show out in Newcastle at their the riot room. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah. Glad you remember that. Yeah, that was a good time.
He was
That
cool.
was a good night. Yeah,
that'll be good.
Yeah, looking forward to that as well. So yeah, that's what we got coming up here in the next week for hot, stinky, sticky studio of Chub Liver. So fuck yeah. But we are at our time. Let's go ahead and wrap it up. So Thom, thank you so much for coming on today.
It was an honor.
And get to hear about your backstory and historical stuff that you've been a part of. And fuck yeah, man. I really appreciate it. And Phil, thank you for coming out today, man, and fucking hanging out and drinking bless you beer.
Tight.
Yeah, exactly. And motherfucking Jeanette Carey. On the fucking podcast for the first time.
Yes.
Yeah. And thank you for everything that you do to help out Chop Liver as well. Appreciate you. So anything anybody wants to throw out before I close this out?
Just no box, huh? No box.
Oh yeah. All
right.
Yeah,
that's what I was gonna say, Phil. Can we just do one box question?
Let me put the sword up.
Oh no.
I don't even can't believe what the box is.
What has not even one person has taken a piss today?
Nobody peed, just me.
By far the best bladders in Chop Liver history.
Nice.
All right, we'll do one.
we know how to travel.
Oh yeah, so
when you got to travel a long time, you learn what's in the box.
What's in the box?
There you go.
All right, so we'll start with Thom, and then we'll go. Hold on, I actually have to do on camera. You got to be fair. Thom, and then we'll go Phil, and then we'll go Jeanette, and I'll close it out, and then say my piece, and we'll. What's this? This is not supposed to be in there. There's no way. It's here. I got it. All right. I did not think this was going to be
rigged.
I don't even know what we're doing.
God,
what
Katie Hurley,
here?
If you were here, I'd be giving you the evil eye. I am not reading the question. It's not even a question. It literally said, "Are you mad at me and why?" All right.
Why would Thom be mad at you?
I don't know. Katie Hurley, I love you though. What do your feet smell like? Dookie or Nuki, Thom? Jesus Christ.
Well, I don't even know which one of those is not bad. I would keep my feet clean.
What's Nuki?
Yeah,
Dookie is shit, right? And then Nookie, I did it all for the Nookie.
Oh,
the Nookie. So you can take that cookie.
So,
Nookie is sex.
Vagina.
Well, I would. It's whatever. Yeah, I guess there you go.
Or crotch.
Vagina feet.
Smells like crotch.
Yeah. So do your feet smell
Firefly
like
fans.
shit? Or as Phil appropriately said, vagina.
Okay, I guess I'd have to go with Nookie.
All right, sex it is. Phil?
Same.
All right.
I'm a sexual guy. You got that little text. Didn't you?
Yeah, I sure did. Oh, man. Are you sure we shouldn't read that?
You want to read it?
I think we should.
Okay.
I think we should. You've got, my phone is being used as Phil's camera, so I can't pull it up. And oh wait, you know what? I probably.
What do you need? Oh,
maybe I can. Let's see.
I don't know if we should. Should we?
It's pretty fun. It's pretty.
Okay.
It's great.
Right.
It's good. Google. Is it gmail.com?
Wait a minute. Didn't you send it to me?
Yeah, if you got it. Yeah. Oh,
what's going on right now?
Google.mail.com. Let's try that. Google.com/mail.
I'm not. Oh, I thought you sent it to me.
Oh yeah, we're in. We are in. All I got to do is remember my password.
Oh, here we are.
Onlyfans.com/BDE bullshit. That's right.
I don't know if we should do this or not.
Oh yeah, here, yeah. Let me read it. I'm gonna do it in the Shet voice too. Right on. Okay, hold on. Let me close this out so we can get real.
I know,
real. Oh, Thom, I love you so much, man. Thank you so much for letting me read this. All right, let's go full.
Well, she sent it to you.
Well, yeah. I won't read the whole thing. Fuck it. So, this is. Should I say her name?
Sure.
All right. So this is from Jessie C. What's she go by? Jessie.
It's Jessie.
Jessie. Okay.
Jessie.
So. All right.
Wait a minute. Oh.
You
do need to edit it, don't you?
Oh man, here we go.
No, edit it. Oh my God.
Okay, so hold on. Let me take my glasses off.
They're
let's
steaming
get
up,
real
are
here.
they?
Oh no, I can't read without them. Fuck, I forgot.
Oops.
You gotta have these things. I'm fucking basically blind. So, okay. Was hoping I could get you to tell him how much I enjoy being in the spreader bar with his cock crammed all the way down my throat. In fact, my pussy is throbbing right now at the thought of it. Please tell my big dick daddy that I am filled with mad desire for him and can't wait to see him again. Thank you in advance and have the best day ever. Oh, also, he's not too shabby on the guitar either.
Woo!
That is the email that I received
Blimey.
like 10 minutes before the podcast started. I was like,
Wow.
I'm gonna
Holy shit.
yeah, that is an email. So Danny Thompson, you got the text. Yeah. All right.
So this is a mystery lady. A mystery lady's talking to you about Mr. Thom.
Yes. Yeah.
Not
Ooh,
me.
Thom, you got the pussies throbbing? Are you got it like that, baby?
You betcha. Hell
All
yeah.
right, baby.
Hell yeah.
Nothing like
I
a
like-
good pussy throb.
I like the cock thram, like whatever.
Okay. We don't need to go there
So
anymore.
fucking good, Tom. You got an awesome one. All right, last one out of the box. All right. No, God damn it. We have got to get better questions.
Yeah, need a new
Yeah, we need an update because some of these are just ridiculous. God.
Who puts them in there?
Mostly Katie Hurley.
Fired.
All right. Fuck it, dude. We're not doing it anymore.
Okay.
We're not doing any more what's in the
All
box. If I could get one that's worth a shit, you know what? Let me get under the here. All right, Tom, what are you gonna do with your life?
Still working on it.
Hell yeah. Amen,
I'm gonna
brother.
keep working. Actually, I am gonna keep working on it.
Fuck
That's
yeah.
it. That's what I'm gonna do with my life. It's a work in
Exactly.
progress,
Exactly.
and I'm rolling along. And that's a good question like that.
Yeah.
it's not a destination; it's a journey.
Exactly.
You know.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Phil?
Same.
Same.
Yeah, working on it.
Well, when I grow up, I want to be a porn star. What about you, Jeanette?
Well, I don't want to grow up, but
Exactly.
Because you're
Toys R Us kid.
Oh, hell yeah, brother!
I don't know. I got in this thing that started in November where I reconnected with the creative energies of my soul, and it's been amazing. The way it stimulates your brain, whether you're making art or music or anything, like even what you're doing, Phil, that's creative as hell too. Creating clothes.
Yeah.
I actually like to make clothes myself. I just do it for me. I alter t-shirts and shit, and I like to
There you
hand
go.
sew. I
There
think
you
of
go.
that as an art form too.
I'll still
It's
do
just
that.
it's been so incredible. So yeah, I want to keep.
Do it.
I'm so grateful the fire's lit again. It's because you can't. I don't know if you guys as artists know what I'm saying, that sometimes
Exactly.
you can't control it, you know, and it's so grateful to have that feeling.
When
that
you get the
energy,
fire
that
lit
drive.
again, that's a perfect way to put it. Getting the fire lit again. Brilliant.
Yeah, I've been a lot happier person in general.
Sometimes
I
it
wanna
takes a
keep
little more
that.
gasoline, but whatever.
It's literally I was about to say like, yeah, yeah.
Sweet.
Life is pain. Write it down.
Nice.
Make it come out of an instrument. Make it come out on a painting or a canvas per se.
You come out of it. Anyway.
Express it. You know. So
Well, no-
yeah, for sure.
Exactly. Yeah,
You bring up something that made me think, and this is because I'm an old ass chick now. I'm 54, so I see all these beautiful youngins coming up, doing things, some of their dreams.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, and one of the things people worry too much about being perfect. Like
Ooh.
what was it, Tom, that John Lennon said? Life is what happens when you're sitting around making plans. Is that the quote he
Right.
had?
Yeah.
Totally.
It's sometimes we get
Yeah.
too caught up in the thinking what we perceive as perfection, when perfection just it is existing. Really, that's real perfection. Imperfection is perfection. I was thinking about that last night. So y'all just, this is to anyone listening, make that music, make that art. Don't give a fuck what somebody's going to say about it.
Mhm.
Don't even entertain that shit. Because we've all doubted ourselves at some point. Even the most incredible, you pick any person you respect and admire, they had a period in their life where nobody gave a shit what they were doing, or they doubted themselves. It's okay. Just do it. Just make it. Don't worry. Keep making it. Keep doing it. It'll come into place. It's okay.
Amen.
It's all wonderful.
Beautifully put.
Yep, totally.
Beautifully put.
Yeah.
And that's why I like chopped liver, and why I want to help with it, and why I'm always like, I'm a fan first and foremost, and then I wanted to help with it because I really believe in this celebrating each other weekly.
Amen.
You're
Yeah,
celebrating our community weekly.
Now twice a week.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wednesday's midweek crisis, which is totally a play on the fact that I'm fucking 40 and I'm over the hill now. And then Sunday is hair of the dog because I'm probably hungover from last night. And today, I assure you, I am definitely hungover from last night. Phil can attest to that. You were like the last person I talked to at the bar, and I bet you were like, this
In the parking
motherfucker
lot.
in the parking lot. Yeah.
From the Ecto.
Yeah. So again, love you, Tom. Love you, Phil. Love you, Jeanette.
Thank you.
Love.
Appreciate all of you. I always close out with the same thing, but I want to say something different. If you watch these podcasts, we do get serious here and there, and we do touch on some subjects at times, but I do want to remind everybody, don't take life too serious. You'll never make it out alive.
Exactly.
And that is Van Wilder, by the way.
That's yep.
Gotta have fun, guys.
Yep.
You gotta live your life. You gotta enjoy your life and enjoy your art and put yourself out there. Ladies and gentlemen, we are the unheard. We are the overlooked. We almost forgot to click the brand button. We are Chopped Liver. Thank you again, Tom. Thank you again, Phil. Thank you again, Jeanette. Cheers, y'all.
Thank you. Thank you.
You think you're weird?